Hello, everybody, and welcome to Shacknews Presents Pop Goes the Culture. I am Donovan Erskine, a news editor here at Shacknews, and I'm joined as always by my illustrious co-host and head of video here at Shacknews, Greg Burke. It's episode 163. How you doing, Greg? It's been a couple of weeks.
163. We did it. We're gonna get to 200 really quickly. It has been a few weeks. We've been super busy. You were gone last
It's
week.
I was in Boston at PAX East. Might I say, nice warm weather PAX East. Greg, once upon a time, you and I went to PAX East together in 2018, which is a
Oh my
different, uh,
god.
very different time. Uh, I was a mere 20 years old at that PAX East, and I remember it snowed, and you being a California man, you were like, it was like watching somebody walk into like Willy Wonka's candy shop. You were just completely bewildered by the falling ice particles.
Take it back. I
But
was going to start a religion around it.
yeah. But this year they did it in May, so it was a little warmer. It's still up north, it's Boston, so it still got to like 50s, 60s a couple days. But there were some days where it was like 70. It was really warm.
Didn't it rain too? It like
Unfortunately,
poured, didn't it?
it rained a couple days. It rains every year at PAX East. I mean, it's New England, it's the Northeast. It's always going to be shitty weather, but um, it's a one-time thing because next year they're going back to March. It's going to be cold as balls. I got to see Ozzy. Ozzy went to his first PAX
And you guys,
East.
yeah, and you guys see
Um,
Steve. Like it was all three of you guys together. If we're like, you
yeah,
guys haven't been there
I
in
usually
decades.
I usually see Steve every year at PAX East, and we're always just like, it's like the meme from Hot Ones where Paul Rudd is like, "Look at us, who would have thought? Not me."
Yeah.
That's like me and Steve every year at PAX East, just like saying what's up to each other in the lobby. Um, yeah, but it was a good time. I look forward to going every year. And Greg, I'm going to be seeing you soon, in less than a week, because you and I are getting to do something really cool. We're going down to freaking Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, in the town Kissimmee, which I'll give you my background. I love Universal Studios. I've been to Orlando was like my family's favorite go-to like vacation because it was okay, close as a stretch, but we would road trip it. It was like a 16-hour drive, 14 to 16-hour drive, and we've got family in Georgia which you have to pass through. So we would always drive down, okay, always. We did this like twice. We would drive down to Florida. We'd leave like late at night. My dad would just drive through the night. We'd like stop and see family. That'd be like our rest stop for a couple hours, and then we do like the last like 5 or 6 hours and go to Universal Studios. We did that a couple times when I was a kid, and then this past Christmas we flew down because we're all old and nobody wants to sit in a car for 15 hours now.
You have
We
that
all flew
airline money
down.
now.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, we all got jobs. We flew down for Christmas and had a really good time down in Universal. And while I was there, I saw they were advertising Epic Universe, their new park. They had obviously it's not open, so it was closed off, but like they had dioramas you could look at where it was like, hey, there's gonna be Super Mario World, and like here's where the Monsters Universe or Dark Universe where the horror monsters are gonna be. Here's the new Harry Potter section. Here's How to Train Your Dragon is gonna be there, and they were selling like merchandise for it, and it was cool. You could tell people were excited. Like it was literally just a showroom like something you'd see at a conference, and it was like the busiest building on City Walk because everybody wanted to like get a sneak peek at the new attractions and stuff. So you and I are gonna get to go down there and preview it early. I know you're a big theme park guy, so I'll probably be following your lead because you know I like walking around theme parks. I'm not the biggest rides guy, but I'm gonna assume I'm gonna have to get on rides on behalf of Shack News here.
Yeah, but luckily most of their rides are like approved by me. Like I don't like any of the upside down roller coasters. Like Six Flags is not the park for me. I don't like adrenaline junkie rides. So a lot of their rides are pretty
Okay,
like they're more immersive. Like they're not like a thrill
okay,
rides.
yeah,
So
that shit
that's
I love. I'm good with
yeah.
the immersive stuff, like the one in Harry Potter where you like
Yeah,
you.
that's great.
I rode that like 4 times this Christmas because I just kept doing the like solo rider lane. Um, yeah, the Star Rise of the Resistance of Star, all that stuff's perfect for me. So they got stuff like that, great. But don't they have the Donkey Kong coaster that like jumps the tracks?
Yeah, but it
Isn't
doesn't
that
go
a thing
upside
there?
down or anything. And it doesn't go like 80 miles an hour. So you're fine. You're
Okay.
fine. No,
You're gonna.
it'll be
I'm
great.
literally. I've not been on a coaster at all since I was like 15. I'm gonna be on it. It's gonna be the most baby roller coaster, Greg, and I'm gonna be on it like this.
They have two. They have the
So,
Donkey Kong one, they have a Train Your Dragon one.
How to Train Your Dragon is probably
As
a
long as they
more
don't go
crazy one.
upside down and they don't go 200 feet in the air, I'm good. Like so I can look at it and be like, we're good. You went on the Hagrid bike thing. I think that's as extreme as
I
they'll
didn't
go.
even do that.
No, that's okay. That's a good one. That doesn't go that fast.
No, it looked fine. I just, I just don't get a roller coaster.
That you're gonna have to a
um,
Shack News movie. I have to get the GoPro facing your
I
face
will.
while you're doing it. You're
I was gonna say if we're
like,
recording it, you should get my reaction because I'm gonna be struggling. Now I hope you know that I'm like googling what this ride looks like now. Um the How to Train Your Dragon one.
We're the last section to
Uh
go preview the soft opening. For people who don't know, it's called a soft opening, where they select invite press and influencers and family and friends, kind of like a beta, and they do them in sections. And we're the last section to go right before it opens, which is it's great to be the first section, but first section's like top tier, like your celebrities and like top 1% influencers, that kind of stuff. But I'm still thankful for it because you've never been to a soft opening, Donovan, and it's amazing. I've told you
Never.
all the food is usually heavily discounted or free. There are no lines, there's minimal, like it's great. Like everyone's out. You have plenty of room to take pictures and do things before it just
Right.
becomes slammed. It's a rare opportunity because not many theme parks open that often. You know, a decade or two or whatever. They usually do some stuff or maybe at a new ride, but the whole park, a whole new park, which they hauled ass on that park. They built it so
They
quickly.
did. Yeah, they've been grinding. I'm excited to see kind of how it compares because I have obviously, okay, I shouldn't say obviously, but I've been to the California Universal Studios recently, and I've seen their like Super Nintendo World. So I'm curious to see how Universal Orlando compares.
Yeah, they have a Yoshi
I know
ride. They have
people,
a Yoshi ride there too, so they have an additional ride.
yeah,
And not
yeah.
Yukon
There's
Yoshi.
people always argue California versus Florida parks. They both have their pros and cons, right? I mean, the California park has the actual Universal Studio Lot tour, which I think is awesome. But then Florida's got way more space,
It
so
does.
you're just less cramped doing everything, which matters a lot. Um, but
I'm
yeah, I'm
also
looking forward to that. We're gonna record a bunch of content for it.
Yeah, I hopefully get it up before Summer of Jeff for Keef 3. That's gonna be because it comes right on the cusp of that. We come back the
Yeah,
22nd, I think. Yeah. So it's like we got a
yeah,
week to get it
we'll
all
be
up.
like T minus 2 weeks before we're out of there.
And
Yeah.
Switch
So there
launch,
you go,
like yeah,
Greg.
lots of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Everything just
we
like June is just like the month. Everything is just like
you and I went 6 full years without seeing each other in person because of like the pandemic and everything, and now we'll have seen each other 3 times in the first 6 months of the year, Greg.
yeah,
From
yeah. Ozzy
GDC
too.
to
Ozzy's joining that bandwagon
yeah,
as well.
yeah. I've seen Ozzy 4 times. Yeah, oh no, three because he's not gonna be Universal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So exciting times. Please look forward to all the cool stuff we're gonna be doing, including talk about some movie news, some TV news, some streaming service news. I don't know. They're like in between movies and TV because they do both. And Greg, I have to say, we've got some fun topics today, but the first one, I laughed out loud in real life when I read this. It's not often that like reading a headline makes me laugh in real life, but when I read HBO Max lives, Max changes its name back after 2 years, I just couldn't help but giggle. So obviously, Warner Brothers has had so many streaming services over the years. And the kind of ironic thing, Greg, is they were a part of like that early wave. Like obviously Netflix was first, but they had like HBO Go and HBO Now, and those were like two different apps that did like kind of the same thing people were confused about. And then it was HBO Max, which was like a good marriage of the two, and it was like the definitive service. And that's where you got like, everything. It's where you'd find The Sopranos and The Wire and Game of Thrones and all their like beloved prestige TV shows, and then now they're like new stuff, the Lord of the Rings shows and whatnot. But then a couple years ago, Greg, they were like, we're gonna rebrand HBO Max to just Max. It was like in the Social Network where he tells Mark Zuckerberg, he's like, hey, drop just call it Facebook. It rolls off the tongue better. Except this was a terrible idea because HBO or just calling it Max kind of erased all the brand identity, right? It's like the name HBO had so much prestige to it, right, Greg? Like I just named all the shows people think of when they hear HBO, The Wire, The Sopranos, shows that people call like the greatest of all time. And then you just call it Max, and it's like, well, that one doesn't mean anything. Two, it's a terrible term to search for because it's just a word that people use every day. Um, and it was sort of a Twitter thing, right? Where everybody calls X Twitter because it'll always just be Twitter. And it's iconic and it's what everyone's brains is used to saying. But that was kind of what happened here. People just continued to call HBO Max. Everyone laughed at them, clowned on them for this. And after 2 years, they're just waving the white flag. They're like, we're just gonna call this thing back to HBO Max. And they actually have a quote here, Greg, I want to read from their press release. Returning the HBO brand into HBO Max will further drive the service forward and amplify the uniqueness that subscribers can expect from the offering. It is also a testament to Warner Brothers Discovery's willingness to keep boldly iterating its strategy and approach, leaning heavily on consumer data and insights to best position itself for success. So that last part is corporate speak for like all of our fans wanted us to do this, so we're just going to do it. And it's true, but it's also like, man, you guys should have reversed this like 2 years ago. When you announced it, you should have just like grand opening, grand closed it. Just been like, oh, never mind. Just yanked it right back. It would have been the easiest thing to just be like, nope, nope, nope. But Greg, as an avid streaming service watcher, are you happy that we're going back to HBO Max?
I mean, here's my theory on what happened, and I believe it to be accurate. They hired a marketing
Oh,
firm.
I turned my mic out.
One sec, yeah,
Hello? Oh, there you go. Wait.
my sorry,
Yeah.
my soundboard was like freaking out. So here's what I
Mhm.
think happened, and I think it's pretty accurate. So they hired a marketing firm, and today's marketing, like everybody, when I used to sit on calls from at Greenland and Restart, it's all the youth. They want the youth market. They want the youth market. It's got to be the youth market. It's got to be Gen Z and Zoomers and Gen Y. We have to target them. We need younger viewers because older people are too smart with their money or whatever, for whatever reason. They want younger viewers. They want younger, hipper viewers to be in with the kids. So they hired some hotshot marketing firm that had a bunch of young people in it, and I guarantee you, I promise you, my the theory is so sound. The guy's like, get rid of HBO. Nobody knows what HBO is. Home box office. Kids don't know what that is. You know, like you just gotta say Max. Kids will say Max because kids like Max. Kids don't know what HBO is. They didn't grow up watching HBO. They grew up watching, Minecraft and all this other stuff. They don't know what HBO is. Home box office. No one knows. Just call it Max. It'll be perfect. And then of course they're like, it was a huge mistake because they're just like, what, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speculation around what led to that decision. There was one report that came out yesterday that was saying that essentially, like, there was just one exec, and they didn't name the person, obviously, but there was like an anonymous employee at WB who was like, there was like one executive who just wanted to rename it Max, and he kind of just overruled everybody and was like, I think this is a good idea. I don't care that everybody disagrees with me. We're just gonna do it. And then obviously the data proved that he was wrong, and they reversed it.
The
Now people
President
have
Trump approach. I like this.
yeah, people have speculated who that could be.
David
You
Zaslav.
know who's. I'll say doesn't take too many guesses, um, to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, and here's the thing: on paper, you can understand what would have led them to the logic to do such a thing, right? Because we live in the era of like minimalism, right? Where every company has redesigned their logo to just be the most simplest, monocolor, as few lines as possible image ever, right? And this was kind of just like the branding version of that, where I think from their perspective, they were like, HBO is just one thing, right? Like HBO is just one aspect of WB, or technically WBD now. Whereas when you get on HBO Max, you also see Scooby Doo, which wasn't on HBO. You got all the Cartoon Network Hanna-Barbera library. That has nothing to do with HBO. You've got Dune, Harry Potter, all these Warner properties have nothing to do with HBO. And I think in their brains it was just like, now it's just it's less niche, it's more this broad appealing term. But the issue is that you had what is literal currency of these companies, which is brand recognition and brand loyalty. Like HBO means something to people. When you say that The Penguin is an HBO drama, people are like, oh, okay, so this is actually going to be good. It's not going to be like a CW comic book show. It's going to be like an actual good
It's
story
gonna be
with
good.
acting
So
and
set the bars
yeah,
like that. It's gonna
nice
be
thing in
good.
the sets. But that's what people associate with HBO because it's given us some of the greatest shows of all time. And you kind of just lit it all on fire for a silly name. Um, I know people have also compared it to like Amazon Prime Video, how they've just kind of shortened it to Prime Video or whatever. And it's like it's a little different. You can take Amazon out of the name because like people know what Prime is because Prime has been a thing since before, like for years before Prime Video was even a thing. They've always had Prime as a part of their
Optimus
business.
Prime,
Um,
Prime Rib,
yeah,
Prime
there you go.
Time. I mean, there's lots of primes. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but you're
After
right
that,
though. Like it's infamous with the brand. It is a weird decision, but I mean, like what annoyed me was when you open the app on the phone, it would be like, oh, we've rebranded, and you'd have to click another button, and it would open another app. I'm like, why
it
not
was a
just
new. Okay, so that's
yeah?
what I wanted to
That was the
ask.
obnoxious thing.
When they rebranded, they made a new app. They did not just update the HBO Max app. Like, still to this day, if I go to my living room and turn on my Apple TV, I have the Max app, and then if I keep scrolling down, I still have HBO Max. So what happens now? They're not going to go back to the old app that they haven't supported for 2 years. So do they just rebrand the new app to say HBO Max? To which now there'll be two apps you could have on your devices that say HBO Max. That sounds like a nightmare.
No clue. I
But
have no clue what their
I,
marketing
I don't
strategy is.
understand why they made a new app. Like rebranding is one thing, but could you have not just updated the old app? I mean, that bewilders me. But essentially, the change is happening this summer. I do want to give a shout out to whatever the team of people who run the social media account for Max on Twitter because they've been having just a great time with this, making a bunch of jokes about themselves. Obviously, the people who run social media aren't a part of these decisions, so people shouldn't yell at them on Twitter. They're just having fun. We know what it's like to run social stuff.
People love
But
memes.
yeah, yeah, making a lot of posts like joking at themselves. They posted the Conan clip when he was on Hot Ones, and he was like, yeah, I've got this show. It's airing on Max, which used to be called HBO Max, but they changed it to just Max because that just rolls right off the tongue, baby." Um,
Let's
he's like,
go.
yeah, he's like they figured that the HBO was too prestigious. They didn't want to be associated with it anymore. They posted like the Battle of the Bastards meme where they're like us looking at our mentions. So they're having fun with it. I like I can appreciate a good social campaign. So
You know
congrats to
Michael Scott when he's like,
those folks
explain to
over
me
there.
like I'm five. I feel like the future's gonna be explain it to me in a meme. Can you explain me the intricacies of
Explain to
this
me
in
in
a
a
meme?
meme. No, really, yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Put this in pointing Spider-Man form.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Oh,
break
I
this
get it
down for
now. I
me.
get it.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, at the end of the day, as silly as it is, I think it's the right choice for the long term. They should be HBO Max. People were never going to stop calling it that. Now just act like it never happened, I guess, and just move forward, I suppose. But yeah, if you need any more evidence that the streaming era, nobody knows what they're really doing, everyone's kind of just flying by the seat of their pants. Look no further than the evolution and de-evolution of HBO Max over the
It's
last 5
because I'm
years.
this see that's because the information now is so fast. Like it used to be, there used to be a huge delay. Like when you released a movie or a television show, like even for Nelson ratings, like there was a delay, so you wouldn't know if people liked
Yeah,
it for at least a month, 2 months. Now the feedback's instantaneous, which is like both great and awful. So it's
yeah,
the information. There's too much information, and there's too much data
yeah,
now. I guess you can have too much data, but you know what I mean. Like that's one of the
yeah.
causes, right?
No, I agree. It's what makes it sillier that it took them so long to change it. Because it's like you knew the week you announced it. It was like trending on Twitter how dumb it was. Like you could have easily just like instantly took that one back in, you know. Um, but yeah, there you go. Max, when they get around to more episodes of The Last of Us and whatnot, it'll be on HBO Max, folks.
You
As it was always
almost
supposed to
had
be.
it.
There
Almost.
you go. You almost had it. And you're being made fun of for it. Greg, speaking of shows being made for streaming services, I know you're a fan of The Office. I'm also a big fan of
Yeah,
The
yeah, we are.
Office.
Yeah. It's a good show.
We've talked about this because they announced this a while ago that there's a new spin-off of The Office in the works at Peacock specifically called The Paper, and it is going to essentially follow the same camera crew from Dunder Mifflin, but they are now recording a documentary about a dying newspaper in the Midwest. Um, Obviously, The Office was about a paper company on the East Coast in Scranton, Pennsylvania. The paper follow a newsroom, Greg, which is gonna instantly kind of relate to you and I, um, in the Midwest,
Oh,
and we
dude,
got this first
that's gonna
image.
hit hard for us, really,
It
because we're
is
watching
the
things. It just
comedy, the comedy in that is gonna be sharp, I imagine. Um, but we got the first image of it here, Greg. We get to see a bunch of the cast members. Obviously, standing on the table is Domhnall Gleeson, who I know from Star Wars. He was General Hux in like the new Star Wars movies. He's been in some other stuff. His dad is a very famous actor as well. But Greg, as you look at this
he was in Harry
image,
Potter too. He played one of the Ron's brothers, I think, his older
he
brother.
was. Wait, Domhnall Gleeson? Wait, no.
You sure?
Did he?
He
I mean,
looked
I know
really.
they're all
I've been
redheads.
watching Deathly Hollows, and I recognized him from Star Wars. So that's him. He
He's
plays the.
definitely in Star Wars. He's General Hux. I don't know about Harry Potter.
He's in the. He doesn't even come into the
Wait. Oh,
sixth.
he's Bill. He's Bill Weasley.
He's the oldest
Wow.
brother, and you only see him like a handful in the movie. He sees a lot more. I think you see him meet him more in the books, but
Oh, dude,
yeah,
he's young. I would have
yeah,
never recognized him. Okay,
he's
I
a
thought you were
little
just
baby.
I thought you were just saying all redheads look alike for a second there. Um, but Greg, how do you feel about this? What are your excitement levels for this show, The Paper?
I love a dark comedy, and I also love when journalism is a subject of shows and movies. That's why I really loved Civil War. I really liked that movie. Nicole didn't like it so much, but it's about journalists going across the across the thing, like
Good.
following a story, right? And like it's I like that. So I think this is gonna be great. I
No.
think there's a lot of, it's one of those things like where you have Margot Robbie explain to you how the housing thing collapsed. Like if people watch this show and they're like, oh, these are why papers are struggling. It's not because like they're archaic or bad. It's just because people want to watch news on TikTok with a girl in a bikini talking about news. You know what I mean? Like it's we can't really compete with that. You know what I mean? Like it's different. So I mean, I'm looking forward to just a lot of the satire in terms of like our industry and how it's being like just stripped bare and how we're all struggling at the current moment, how we're struggling to monetize articles, written articles, how we're trying to get people to get to the website. You know, I just a little off topic here. I think like one of the main problems with that is that there's just too many websites. And that's why everyone stays in Facebook, Twitter, wherever they are, because like there's just way too many websites. And I think there's just a surplus of them. And then after the .com boom, they got out of
Uh,
control.
I mean, maybe, but like nobody's going to any of them.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not
just
like
going to Facebook now or
there's
wherever you
there's not
live,
one.
right? Facebook or YouTube, wherever you get your news, wherever you stay in that ecosystem, right? And then it doesn't help that these sites decentivize links to external sites. There are some Reddit forums now that don't even allow links to external sites. They're just like, nope, you have to copy and paste the entire article and like they do that on like Dead by Daylight Reddit does that. No outside links allowed. So it's like, okay, everything just has to live in this Reddit. Weird.
I mean,
But
it's about meeting people where they're at. I also think that the journalism industry kind of failed itself in the transition to digital media. I think people were very slow. Outlets were very slow in adapting to digital print over like physical newspapers. And I think that as an industry, I say we, I was a part of this. I was still in school when this was happening. But I think we could have done a better job at making things accessible to people on the internet than we did. I think not the there was a very improper effort put in on that front. And yeah, I mean everything's on social media now. Why would people go out of their way to go somewhere else when they can get the information easier and faster for free on social media?
yeah, it
Um,
just and the payment structure. I know I'm interested in it because like obviously
mm,
like the theme on The Office was people like they were like a middleman. Like why were you going through this middle like and there were a lot of businesses that way started in the 90s like distribute manufacturers would make something and then there'd be like a distributor and then that distributor would get them to people but like now ecosystems are built better in shipping and receiving so you don't really need the in between anymore but their entire alliance is like a huge comic and toy distributor like you don't really need them you can just go straight to the supplier and go through them so now they have to have contracts saying, oh, we exclusively get this, we exclusively get that, because they're just going to the other people directly if they can and cut out the middleman and just send them to it
mm,
directly. Because back then they didn't have that infrastructure and now they do, right? It's a lot easier. Like even with Amazon, because you can have Amazon be your distributor for you, like for certain things, because they get all these products, right? You don't need Alliance and all these third party things that just like they charge a surplus you're paying 35% more for product because you have to go through them and they need their cut so it's interesting I feel like this whole evolution of the office was about that and this will be more about our industry our journalistic industry paper
yeah,
industry digital like how you competing with influencers and youtubers that kind of stuff how people get their news what can we do to get the news but they'll do it in a humorous way but it'll also be dark so
it'll be good satire.
yeah.
Um, Also, Greg, one more thing before we move on from the story. You notice any interesting faces in this image here? If you zoom in on the people there, anyone in particular stand out to you?
I see
Yeah,
Oscar in the left.
Oscar's in, yeah, Oscar's in the back there. As far as we know, he's the only returning character from The Office. They confirmed he was going to be in it. It looks like he's just a member of the staff, so he'll probably be a regular. You look at that box in front of his desk. That's definitely the Dunder Mifflin logo. It's like very blurry, but it's on that green sticker. It looks like it says it's that paper box. Um, but yeah, I think that'll be funny. Obviously, they were going to have some sort of connective thread to The Office. So I imagine through Oscar, we'll learn a bit about how things went or ended at Dunder Mifflin and all that
Oh
between
yeah, we'll
now and
get
then.
closure. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, he'll probably talk about how things went down. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I like Greg Daniels. I like The Office. I like that they've got like a whole new cast here. Uh, I think that I'm more interested in this than like an Office reboot, right? If
Yeah.
it had just been like all the characters are back and they're all just 20 years older and they all still work at Dunder Mifflin, that would have been less interesting to me. I think this is a bit more exciting. So there you go. The paper. Um,
When does it come out again? September.
yeah, September 2025 on Peacock. That'll be fun. We'll be able to review it on the show, Greg. We'll have to do like week by week or something like that, recaps, because I'm sure we'll both be all over that when it hits. Um, our next story is one I'm so excited to get to, but before we do that, I want to remind folks follow the stream. Hit that follow button. Hit the notification bell so that you're made aware every time the Shacknews Twitch channel goes live, because Pop Goes the Culture is far from our only show. We do Steve Tendo on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. TJ's always streaming in Delicious on Mondays. He does Tech Into the Lab when he can. You got Variety Hours with Shack News, or as I like to call it, Variety Hours with Sam Chandler. He streams all the time playing a bunch of games. Jan streams real late on the in the evening, on Thursdays, in fact. If you're more of a night owl, catch him at 10 o'clock Eastern. Um, we do a lot of streaming here on the Shack News Twitch channel. You don't want to miss it, so hit that notification bell. And of course, follow us on social media. We're on x.com at Shack News. We're on Instagram at Shack News Media. We're on Facebook at Shack News. And then, Greg, I believe on YouTube we have 1, 2, 3 whole flipping channels. Tell us how that's been going.
Yeah, they're going good. A bunch of TJ's Eve interviews finally made embargo today, so there's like 4 Eve interviews with CCP Games from the creative director of Eve Online and the CEO and a bunch of other art directors, community managers, all on Shack News interviews. Those are kind of our latest videos there. On the Shack News side, we did a bunch of Nintendo. We went to the Nintendo opening, or Ozzy went to the Nintendo opening in San Francisco. Ozzy flew because I didn't want to drive 2 hours. That's how jaded I am. Like, oh wait, people don't understand. Like, whenever they ask me for stuff, they're always like, "Do they need an article?" If the answer is no, then I go because I'm not allowed in the CMS. That's a rule. Only Cortex. So we have all the Ozzy got a bunch of footage there, and I cut a bunch of shorts that went up today and yesterday, and there'll be even more going up today for the Nintendo store in San Francisco. You can see what they offer, if they offer anything good that you want. They had a Donkey Kong hoodie, which looked hilarious. I think Ozzy got it. Ozzy.
Oh, nice. They had some cool looking stuff. I saw they had like the Dodo Airlines jacket from Animal Crossing. Apparently, they got a lot of Metroid stuff, which is cool. I love that they have the like build your own Switch OLED thing where you like go to the screen and you can be like, I want a blue Joy-Con with a green grip on the right, and then a yellow Joy-Con with a purple grip on the left, and then you can like mix and match. I think that's fun.
Yeah, just in time for Switch 2, which is very weird. That's so weird. Isn't that weird thing?
I mean,
to
Switch
have,
is still
2 weeks for the next console.
It is, but I mean, Nintendo still wants to sell those Switches, those base Switches, and they're gonna support it. And you gotta think of those kids who don't upgrade until like 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah, no,
a lot of people are about to be getting
Switches. It's the modern day PS4. You know what I mean? Because people still had the PS4 and PS2 for God knows how long after the new system came out. I think it was like multiple years. Especially 2 to 3. Like 2 was still supported a long time before 3 was like the new standard. So.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo, they're going to be supporting games on Switch for a long time. I don't think that next year they're going to be like everything has to be on Switch 2 now, because they sold 150 million of those consoles, so makes sense. With that, though, I think it's time, Greg, for us to move in to our next topic, which is the new full trailer for frickin' Superman. James Gunn's Superman comes out in July. I believe it's July 11th this movie comes out. And they just released a full banging 3-minute trailer for it yesterday. Greg, would you like to watch it right here on the Shack News Twitch channel with me?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it.
Sure, we're good. I'll go 3, 2, 1, and then we'll click on go. So 3, 2, 1, go, and click on go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Lois Lane.
Sure.
He was in Twisters.
He was good in
saw
Twisters.
Twisters
He was an
remind me
ass.
Cronkite.
He was
Okay.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Okay, so she knows Clark Kent is Superman in this.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for
Yeah.
what some
It's a
might.
lot of fire,
It's a
but-
lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
I think that's Rick
My
Flag Sr.,
actions? I stopped a war.
Secretary of Defense.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm
Is that,
not the one
is
being
that
interviewed.
Ultraman?
It might have been.
Sorry, he has a it's Ultra. He has a U. I don't know if it's.
You're pausing. We're doing a Rex.
Oh, sorry,
the same
right, sorry.
timestamp.
I'm not the one
Sorry.
being interviewed, Superman.
Wait, what time are you at?
Did you consult with the
250. It's 53 seconds. Sorry.
You're a rookie.
All right, ready. So
All
we'll
right.
do 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1. Go.
president?
Sorry.
Ball of Lex.
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative.
That's gonna
of
be a
the United
gift.
States
Oh.
of America. Problems around the world.
Yeah.
And doing
Yeah.
good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
Superman's mad. Did he hit the ground hard as hell?
Hey,
The music, baby.
Eyes up
It's
here.
a good theme.
And even doing the 70s titles in the trailer.
Yeah. Crypto.
Choices,
What is that? Mercy.
your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
And it's terrific.
Superman.
Yeah.
He's not a man.
I like this one.
He's an it.
Oh, metamorphosed kryptonite.
Yeah.
Back in
Somehow
his hand.
become the focal point of the entire world's conversation.
That's a cool shot. I'm coming out
I
of
will not accept that.
Cleveland Guardians Stadium. Shout out to Asif.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
Hey, Green Lantern powers. That
Yeah.
was cool.
Guy Gardner.
Oh shit.
It's almost like the Kingdom Come logo. Just it's ever so different.
You have a
A little
dog.
bit, yeah. Crypto. Super dog. Yeah, July 11th, baby.
Filmed for IMAX.
IMAX.
Can't wait to watch it on my iPad in 4x3.
Hell, I'll be there in IMAX. Can't wait for that one. That is a good trailer.
Yeah,
I
it's a
like the
really good
opening
trailer.
bit where they're doing the interview with Lois and Clark. I like how you can even see like his demeanor change, or she's having a casual conversation with him. She's like, "Let me interview you like as Superman," and then like she hits play and he kind of like sits up and changes his voice a little bit and kind of becomes Superman for their interview. I like that quite a bit. Obviously him talking about like stopping a war and stuff. They show a shit ton of characters in this. You were so beside yourself when you saw who you believe to be Ultraman in here. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm not like so. It's interesting because like Ultraman is like if people don't know there's different renditions that everyone reads at the time. When I was reading the comics, Ultraman was basically like a alternate version of Superman from another
It's
dimension.
like evil Superman.
Basically evil Superman, right? Like but slightly different, is right? Like it was blue kryptonite or whatever that instead of green, so like did weird. But he was an interesting character because he was like just like a gang lord, which was interesting, like a mobster. So like I'm wondering if this is. So that's Rick Flag Senior, right on
Yeah.
the left, and then Ultraman, or maybe like a clone or a clone of Superman that they call Ultraman that maybe becomes Bizarro, and I think that's Mercy on the right, which is like, it's Lex Luthor's bodyguard and driver. So maybe maybe he has like technology that allows her to like do stuff with her suit. She has a weird suit, so maybe she's working with him in the Fortress of Solitude. I like all these people with the guns. Like this is a great shot because it's like really guns. Like what's the point? Like honestly.
What else are they gonna do? They're gonna
Yeah.
show with nunchucks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so maybe Ultraman takes that mask off in the movie, and it's the same actor, and they're just like,
Yeah.
boom,
It's
it's like
Bizarro, yeah.
I'm
We get a
evil
preview of Bizarro
Superman.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good use of theme. It's got a lot of good themes here. Lex Luthor, Nicholas Holt's great. I really like Lois Lane. She was great in the
Rachel
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Brosnahan.
Yeah, Marvelous Miss Maisel. That was a great show.
I'm very excited to see her Lois Lane. She seems great. I love her as an actress, and then even just the scene with her talking, I'm like, that's my Lois Lane, baby. So I'm excited to see that. I like David Cornswood a lot in this Superman, or is it him as a good? He seems like a good pick for Clark Kent to me. You mentioned seeing him in Twisters. It's fun seeing him in this after that because he's such an asshole in that movie who doesn't care about people, and now he's Superman, this beacon of hope and compassion. I love the scene where you see him like get smashed down into the ground. He's getting his butt kicked in a good amount of this trailer. Early on, we see you smash in there, and at the very end, we see him like fly up, and everyone's recording him, and he goes off into like the clouds. and then we see him like plummeting back down a few seconds later. That might actually be the same scene. Now that I think about it, there might just be different angles of the same scene.
No, yeah,
But
I mean, it's really, it's really well shot. That's just James Gunn and his DP. But I also like the
yeah,
way like it looks. Like it has like an aesthetic to it, where like a lot of the Marvel movies are just
yeah,
modern day, so they don't really have, and they have to be intertwined, so they can't really have like a super stylistic look to them because they just
mhm.
interferes with other movies. This one looks
I
like
mean the
it's like a
old the old DC movies had a stylistic look to them.
yeah.
It's just nobody liked it. They were all
Right.
dark and dreary. Um,
This one looks like it's like sort of like almost like a retro like 70s like that, like, you know, because there's a lot of color everywhere. It doesn't look like like their costumes like all look really unique. Like there's like people that wearing like 1950s outfits. Like it's kind of cool. Like definitely has a unique look to it.
yeah, it's a really exciting movie. I'm like really hyped for this. I like Superman. I was never the biggest Superman fan, but this has reached like I need to see this as soon as it comes out territory for me. I'm excited. I really like what James Gunn is doing. I know people have questioned some of his moves since he took over DC, but I think this is one of the situations where you gotta let the man cook. You gotta wait and see. You gotta wait for these fruits of his labor to sort of show, and I think this is going to be one of the first major steps for it. Even the shot with Green Lantern using his power, where he like flicks his hand, and you see the like green hand pop up and like push the truck out of the way. Like that's all. That shit looks good. I'm excited for this. And it's only gosh a couple months away now, less than 2 months.
Yeah, let Gunn cook. Gunn knows what he's doing, honestly. Like he really
He
does. Like
does.
I
Yeah.
love his career path, his trajectory, his experience. Like everything kind of leads up to this stuff. And I believe like
Hmm.
people didn't really like. I'm trying to think of the first thing like what made him become a household name. And I mean, people will argue like Toxic Crusader and like the Trauma films, but that was like such a niche audience, I think, and a niche community for those kind of movies. I would say, would you say Guardians is like what put him in everyone's household as a name?
I mean, yeah, that was like his first huge thing. Obviously, he had done so much before that.
Yeah, he's done a ton.
A lot of Yeah, I mean, obviously we love Scooby Doo, but he wrote, ironically, he wrote the Dawn of the Dead reboot that Zack Snyder did. That's still one of like Snyder's most beloved movies. James Gunn like wrote that movie, Slither. I mean, he had done some great stuff, but yeah, I mean, Guardians was like his first big blockbuster IP thing, and it was great. And then he made two more really good ones. Then he did Suicide Squad, which is really good. Um, if you ask me, he's made four great comic book movies. I'll trust him to make five good comic book movies. And the fact that he's kind of overseeing the entire universe means that like this is going somewhere. You know, he's not like throwing the ball up for somebody else to slam down. Like whatever gets set up in this movie or referenced in this movie, it's part of the long game. It's part of like an ongoing storyline that he's already working with people to hash out and figure out. So hell yeah, let's freaking do it. You'll believe a man can fly. Superman.
That's a great tagline. You can believe a man can fly. Metamorphose in the back, and his left hand is kryptonite.
Is
Sending
it
it
looks blue? Oh,
to
his hand is
205.
green. Okay, you're right. I know I can see it
He's
because
like
my
hiding it
camera's kind
behind
of.
his thing, and then there's two other people in the cells next to him, and they're too dark to really recognize. There's a girl in a pink dress.
Zatanna. It's Zatanna.
No,
I'm just
they would have
guessing.
put her in a tuxedo if that was her. Then whoever the
Yeah,
guy on the left is, Star Sapphire
they'll be two.
maybe, but that's a dress and not like a uniform. So I don't know. That's
Yeah, it's hard to say. They'll be Easter eggs. They'll say their names, and people will be like, "Oh," and then that'll be it. They'll
the
pop up in a show or something.
yeah, the one thing that James Gunn's really good at doing in his movies, in his superhero movies, is like having cameos, but they're not distracting. You know what I mean? Like it's not like like I wouldn't even call them cameos, right? Like they're integrated into the story in some way. They come in, do their thing, or they say the line and they leave. And it feels very organic,
Howard
other
the
than to
Duck
like
Baby in Guardians.
yeah, right, like stuff like that. Like it just feels it feels like it works.
Yeah,
And that's why Mr. Terrific, Hot Girl, and Guy Gardner. That's a good shot. That's a great outfit on Guy Gardner.
it's good. I like it. Haircut's still hilarious. But yeah, they all look cool. I love Mr. Terrific's like floating chair he's got there. It's pretty cool.
Do you think we'll get
Um,
Batman in this?
no, I'm sure somebody will talk about Gotham City. I think somebody will be like, "Oh yeah, this is just like that time that that crazy guy was doing this in Gotham City and then got beat up." But I don't think we get Batman. I think they'll save that. But I mean, it's coming. We know they're making a DCU Batman movie. I think
Well,
it's Brave and the Bold.
when they did was it Justice League Doomsday? I forget. There was a Justice League book that was about the invasion of Darkseid, and like that was before they were the Justice League, and nobody knew each other. So they did an
Okay.
animated movie on it. I think it was called Doom. I think it might have been called Doom. but like, and they all like, and they're all meeting each other for the first time, and like, of course, Batman takes everybody out. It was just,
Right.
but yeah, this looks really great, and that symbol is great.
Yeah.
It looks it's Kingdom. It's like Kingdom Come, but there's two. It's a little more curvy on the edges because the Kingdom Come one's like a straight line almost.
All straight lines. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's a good
very,
blend of
very cool.
logos.
Like how they kept it alien, because there's some places it's supposed to be his family sigil, and it adopts the
crest.
S, right? They're like, oh, it looks like an S, right? But this, it's like, I like how it
Run
looks kind
from
of
it
alien.
means hope.
Yeah, right.
Yep. There's even the line in the trailer where Lex Luthor's like, Superman is not a he's an it. So you're obviously gonna get that commentary about Superman being from another planet and then coming here and trying to fix our problems or help our people. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm full on ready. I'm bought in. I'm not skeptical. I'm looking forward to this movie. And we'll be talking about it more, Greg, because I'm gonna watch this and then review it on our show. The one thing about our programming block that I don't like about us being a Thursday afternoon show, Greg, is that new movies come out on Thursdays. So sometimes there will be a big movie, like Superman I'm probably going to see on Thursday night when it comes out, but we'll have already done our show that day, so I have to wait a full 7 days to review it. Like I saw Thunderbolts last week. I saw that or 2 weeks ago, but we didn't do a show last week. I did it the day it came out. We streamed that day. I saw it a few hours after our show, but now I had to wait all this time to review it. I don't want to move our show. It's something I think of sometimes when I say movie on Thursday. I'm like, damn, I got to wait a full week now to review it on my show. But there you go. Now, that's a movie we're looking forward to a lot. There's another movie that just got announced.
I might see that.
You should. There's another movie that just got announced that I can't say I'm looking forward to as much, but it could be good. Greg, they're making a Riders Republic movie.
You know, like, I mean, people were like, what? But, you know, like, look, people forget, like, extreme sports were a thing, and still are, you know, just because they're not in your social media feed doesn't mean people don't enjoy it. And that the game, like, my nephew loved this game.
BMX.
It was a thing, dude. People forget extreme sports, like the everything like that, the BMX and snowboarding and half pipe. Like Tony, that's where, like, isn't that where Tony Hawk made a name for himself at the X Games? Was that where he did like the big trick? Awesome,
Maybe
he's watching. If he's in the chat, he'll tell me. But like it was. I remember it being a big deal in the '90s. Like it was still like snowboarding was relatively new, and like, you know, people were turning their noses up at it because it wasn't skiing. You know, it hadn't been around for like 50 years or whatever. Like, and I mean, I won't go see it. It's not for me, but I think there's definitely an audience for it.
Sure. And I want to say something. I'm being skeptical just because it's like every week we get a movie, video game, or TV adaptation of a video game announced, and at this point, it's like when I hear them get announced, I'm like, we'll see. Like at this point, I'm like, I want to see it come out first because we've been doing this long enough now that I can go back to articles that I wrote from like 2021 about video game adaptations that got announced, and nothing ever happened. Like they announced the It Takes Two movie in like 2022, and it just nothing ever happened.
Well, we talked about
it still
like
could.
gobbling that IP before it becomes,
Yeah,
you have to license it for $50 million and 10% off the top or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one where they specifically said it in the announcement that, like, so the Cannes Film Festival is happening right now in France, which is like the biggest, most prestigious film festival in the world, and they're like launching this project there. Like they're announcing it there, trying to sell it there because all the movie studios are there. But like, this isn't like a movie that's being made right now. They've got directors attached, which I'll talk about in a second. But like, there are still things that need to happen for this movie to like actually get in motion. But it's interesting that they're working on it. I mean, good for Ubisoft. It's Riders Republic became a bit of an inside joke here at Shacknews because it came out. I actually like this game. I reviewed it. I gave it an 8 for Shacknews.com.
My nephew loves it. Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, your nephew likes it. Asif, our CEO and editor-in-chief, really liked it. Just because it's like a kind of game you don't get anymore. There you go.
There he is.
Where it's just like classic.
There's the steel chair. We don't have anything.
Yeah, where it's
Maximum power!
It's that kind of like extreme sports game that you just don't really get anymore. Asif, are you interested at the prospect of a Riders Republic movie? Will you watch this?
Will I watch it? Like in the theater?
No, but when it comes to streaming.
I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
Was it? Wait, here. Wait,
what's the point of this?
Well, you're pondering that, Asif. What? Because we had a question. I don't know if you heard it, but was it the X Games where Tony Hawk did that huge trick that made him famous He was
Oh, you
already
talking the
arguably
900?
a good skater, but that was like what really like exploded him. Was it the X Games?
Is it the 900 he's talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I know it's when he landed the 900. I'm not sure if it was at the X Games or if it was just at some other event. Because like extreme sports really took off after that moment. You're right about that, Greg. But like, it might have just been like one of those exhibition things, you know, like sometimes like Danny Way will just build a giant ramp and do something cool, like jump over the Great Wall of China or something. It's like it might have been something like that. But like to answer your question, like I this was the most baffling video game movie announcement ever.
There's been
Like
some weird ones. We've got some weird ones that have been announced.
this is weird though. Like
It is.
what
Yeah.
exactly is the point of this? Like, and I'm not gonna. I'm look. For all we know, this could be the birth of a new Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
series.
So that's what the credit I wanted to give them. I'm like, the thing with interesting about Riders Republic is that there's no like, I mean, yes, there's like technically a story. You like go to places and do missions in the game, but there's no like protagonist or like cast of characters. So
No.
you could just tell an extreme sports story with like a new characters. Like there's no expectations there. So
Yeah.
the door's open for like a creative person to come in and like grab it by the reins. But I don't know.
You know, we go in cycles like in movies and trends like a lot. Like we haven't come back around to the like underdog sports story in a while. They've done them, but like it was a huge genre in the 90s, Mighty Ducks and all these other little giants.
I don't
like,
think this is an underdog sports
You don't
story
think
though,
so?
Greg. These are like these
They
are
can make it
people who
one.
know how to like
This could
squirrel
be
suit. You know, and,
The
like, you're
thing
not
is
an
that-
underdog if you're trying out squirrel suit over the great like or the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Like this is not. I will say
mean,
something about Riders Republic that is cool. They created actual locations in the real world in that game. Like they went there. I don't know if you've ever watched the credits or like the opening scene to this game. It's the most lists of Ubisoft studios I've ever seen in my life. It's like Ubisoft Guam. I'm like, I didn't know they had one in Guam. Like it's like random places. They're like, yeah, we have a Ubisoft here that did this. They mapped this location for us. So it's like intense like details in the game. But to your point, Donovan, they could tell a story because there's so many different like athletes, right? Like there's like there's biking, there's like skateboarding, there's snowboarding, there's whatever squirrel suiting is. Like you know, like if this is done right, it could be a really fun action movie, like a popcorn movie.
To the action point, there's one thing about this announcement that genuinely intrigues me. So this movie is being directed by two dudes, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, who is the duo that directed the last two Bad Boys movies. Which I don't know if you've seen the last
No.
Bad Boys. I think it's Ride or Die, the one that came out last year.
Yeah,
That's a
I haven't.
good action movie. I remember seeing it and I told Bill, I was like, you got to watch this movie. It is like, that's the one where they had like the clips going viral, like Will Smith with like the big rig that was like flipping the camera around. There's a scene where he's like shooting and you're like, you get like the first person POV and the camera's whipping. They directed the hell out of like the action in those movies. And I'm like, if you could do that with like somebody biking off of a cliff into like a paraglider or something, you could create some really cool sequences. So I think they're a good pick for like an action movie. They might do some really crazy stuff. This might be one of those movies where you see a bunch of random like Tom Cruise stunts where they're like, we jumped off of a cliff with the camera strapped to our chest for this. Or whatever.
That's why like, I'm not judging it. Like this could end up being cool, or it could completely suck. Like I have no idea because there's no actual story to build off of. So it's like it's whatever they make of it.
How about this? I'm gonna name, just scrolling through Shacknews.com's movies tag. I'm gonna name other games that have been announced recently for movie adaptations, and you tell me if they're worse than Riders Republic or better.
Worse ideas.
Yeah, worse ideas or better than Riders Republic. House of the Dead. This was 6 months ago.
No, that's way better idea.
Okay. Oregon Trail. This was 7 months ago.
That's a pretty dumb idea, but probably better than Riders Republic. It's close.
It was fun and educational.
Yeah, it could be like a good, you know, I don't know. Is someone gonna die of dysentery in the game?
Yes.
That's all, or the movie. That's all that matters.
Probably. Shinobi. They announced that one last year.
Of course, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that one could be cool.
Yeah.
Kingmakers, which is the unreleased tiny box game where they've got like the it's like the medieval battle simulator, but they like mix eras. So they had like
Yeah, it's like Army of
yeah,
Darkness.
yeah.
Is
They
that be-
made that game already. It was Army of Darkness.
It's
They
not
made that
even a
movie.
game yet.
They made that. They made
It's
that
not even
movie.
out.
They made that.
That, yeah, that's
How
the
are they
thing.
getting a movie deal before their game's even out?
Because-
I would say
because-
that's worse. That's a worse idea than Riders Republic, because at least there's like sales data and player data for Riders Republic. You have no data for Kingmaker. Like whoever sold the movie, good job, because you had nothing. All you had was like a trailer for a game, and you sold it as a movie.
But that's
so well
that's how
done.
they sold it, is because they sold it for a ham sandwich. Like that's basically, there was no $50 million price tag to license it, right? It was like dirt
I'm
cheap.
sure, but like, I'm not gonna claim that's a better idea than Riders Republic. No, it's not even out. Like, put your
No.
game out first.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of those where games either aren't even out yet, just come out. Here's another one: Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
They announced.
That's
that in
already a
2023.
movie.
It is. A movie.
Yeah,
The game is.
you
a
could
movie.
argue.
Yeah,
You-
I mean,
could
good
argue.
luck to him narrowing down his storytelling to a film, because his stories take like 19 hours to
Yeah,
tell,
It's gonna be American.
and they don't make any sense, and they lack continuity, and they're kind of shit. They're kind of the worst part of his games. So, is Death Stranding a movie a worse idea than Riders Republic? No, because at the end of the day, he's great at creating visual scenes, right? That you're just like, wow, that's like a cool visual, right?
He's an auteur, yeah.
Like
he's an auteur.
He's materially better at making trailers than he is games. So, in the case of this, like, I mean that in like the highest respect. Like his trailers are awesome.
They're great.
So like, I think his movie trailer would probably get people in the seats. It's a better idea than Riders Republic. Of course, it's a better idea than Riders Republic.
This scrolling through this tag is fun because some of these I've even forgotten about. Dead by Daylight. This was March 2023.
Oh
The
yeah. there's
Blumhouse
still
and
pre-production
Behavior
on
said they were
that,
making
yeah.
they said they're making a DVD movie 2 years ago.
I think it'd be better. I think that would be a better series than movie.
See, that's weird to me because like, is that Dead by Daylight only with the game characters, or is it
Right,
like
is it only the
everyone's
original?
here? Because if
No,
it's
no,
everyone's
game
here,
characters.
it sounds like a horrible idea for a movie. I don't understand how you're gonna bring all those characters together. And if it's not everyone is here, I don't know. That's
So wait, I know this. I know the answer to this. So there's a thing in that game called the Entity, and it's kind of like the Doctor Strange portal. So the Entity reaches out and grabs people and pulls them into the Dead by Daylight universe. And that's what's like kind of, and like it's, all those killers are being fueled by the Entity, kind of like this like supernatural, evil force. Like that's.
But you're getting my point though, Greg. It's
Yeah.
gonna have to be. It's a licensing nightmare.
Yeah, that's why you do. That's why you do it as a series, and each episode is a story about the killer, right? Like you focus on.
I
the
like that
original
idea
killer.
better than making it a movie. I just think it's going to be a challenging. We haven't heard anything about it in a while, right?
No, and,
I-
and they
dude, I'm-
can't talk about it. Yeah, we just asked.
I'm
about it
flipping
last night.
through. I'm in 2022 at this point, and there's so many of these projects we just never heard about again. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to produce It Takes Two movie for Amazon Prime. This was April 2022. That just never
Yeah.
happened.
And then Split Fiction got announced for a film too,
Yeah.
right?
They just announced
So now-
Pulp Fiction.
So now Hazelight has two IP that are being adapted to film.
Bandai Namco in 2022, Pac-Man live action movie. They announced that. Ozzy wrote our story for it. That never happened, or not yet at least. It still
A
could.
Pac-Man live action movie?
Yeah, this was going on 3 years ago that they announced.
That's
this.
a worse idea than a Riders Republic movie. I'm sorry. Like live action Pac-Man is a horrible idea. How dare they?
Oh man.
What if they did it
Okay,
like
this
Wreck-It
one
Ralph,
needs.
though? They did it like Wreck-It Ralph, where he's in the arcade and he's doing his thing.
But Wreck-It Ralph wasn't live action.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Well,
Is they
neither
say
are the
live
Disney
action here.
Live action remakes, really. Lion King's all animated too. Yeah, so technically.
You think I'm gonna like? You think that's gonna convince me of anything? You bringing up Disney live action to
Live
me
action
is
is
gonna be
like
like,
a
oh, well,
loose
Greg
term.
has a point. No,
Very
fuck all the
loose
live action shit. That postmodern slop, you're bringing that to me? I know you hate it. I also hate it. Like, man, do we not need a Lion King live action film? But we really don't need a Pac-Man live action film, ever. I'm still pissed off about Secret Level.
Consume.
So
Okay,
stupid.
This
I know
one
we
needs
did,
to
I did an interview
happen.
with the Secret Lab people, and they talk about like the process it takes to get
Secret
a movie
Level,
made, and
Secret
how
Labs,
it just
share
can
company.
go indefinitely because it's timing and actors and egos and budgets and all this stuff that just takes forever. It take didn't like the '89 Batman movie took like 10 years to make because it took so long to like roll film on that movie. It just takes a long time, especially when they
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and I think in the case of the video game industry, not every company knows what they're doing. So
It's very true.
they are taking it slow, and they're also like dodging the Mario movie, right? They have to dodge the Zelda movie. They have to dodge the Sonic movie. They have to dodge the Minecraft movie. There's some very big IP that have like Sonic's doing extremely well in the theaters and you know digitally. So like,
Mhm.
I think when you're a new entrant, but like Ubisoft, you have so many other intellectual
They
properties.
tried that.
What are
Assassin's
you
Creed was
doing?
terrible. That would be a better idea than this, and it was terrible.
Wait, what? What would be better?
Assassin's Creed, but that they tried that and it was terrible.
But
Yeah.
they're doing Assassin's Creed again. They announced
I
that in
know.
Netflix like 3 or 4 years
You
ago.
gotta
That
try it
Netflix has been
again.
doing
They,
Assassin's Creed.
they messed up.
Yeah.
Can't have Magneto
Yeah.
as the
Um,
assassin. Doesn't work.
This one should have happened by now. 2022, Streets of Rage from the John Wick director. They announced that, and that never happened.
Oh, dude.
I would love to see that.
That's
that
a
could be
better
fun.
idea than Riders Republic the movie.
Yeah.
I love Streets of Rage. Also, that soundtrack for Streets of Rage 4 is outstanding. I mean,
yeah.
other Streets of Rage soundtracks are also great, but like, I would love to see an action movie in that universe.
Right? God, Firewatch movie 2020, 5 years
That
ago.
is a movie. It's practically a movie.
They announced this
That,
October 2020 or August 2020.
yeah, we haven't heard a word about that.
That's a good show.
I don't know
Actually,
if
think
that
would be
one's
better as a
happening.
show. That's better as a show too. That's better as a show. Yeah, than a movie.
But like, is it a worse idea than Riders Republic the game or the movie?
Not worse idea.
I'd say
Better-
no.
Better idea.
I think Firewatch is a better idea than Riders Republic. Like, you guys have the Far Cry IP. Like, do something with that. That could actually,
Far Cry could be a good movie.
that could be good.
A good
That could
like
actually be good.
survival movie. Like yeah, guy gets stuck in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Like the
Yeah,
Tower
that
movies,
could be
like the Tower movies that used to do all the time. Yeah.
that could-
You know, there's been different enemies in the Far Cry series that if they had more depth would have been interesting. Like, I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, people love a good villain. Mega Man. This is funny because the headline for TJ's article 2020, the Mega Man live action movie is still alive and big news is coming soon, says directors. This was,
And then nothing ever happened.
Nothing
this was
ever
5 years ago.
Yeah.
happened. The short was
I
great.
think reviving the Mega Man IP is a much better idea than making a Riders Republic movie.
Yeah.
But like, what the hell's going on, Capcom?
It's not,
No,
they have
no,
that
they-
legacy. I mean, they got to be like I think the more popular and more like legacy an IP has, the slower you have to go because there's an expectation, right? People know who Mega Man is, household name, right? It takes time. I think
Is
you have to
he?
be careful? I
Like,
think so. You show kids a
like,
picture.
do your nephews know him?
Yeah, because he's in Smash.
They know
Brothers.
Mega Man. Oh, because of Smash.
He's in Smash.
Okay,
There you go.
that's sad. But
He's a Smash
I
character.
know it's just
that's my point, though, Greg. Like, Mega Man is not like the it character. Even at Capcom, like Street Fighter is a bigger IP. Resident Evil's a bigger IP. I'd argue Monster Hunter's bigger IP now.
They made that
And
movie.
And they have made some god awful Monster Hunter films.
It was
Like,
not good.
that's like one of the worst video game movies ever.
It's pretty
Monster
bad, yeah.
Hunter.
But Mega Man, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if they don't put Mega Man on the soundtrack for that movie, they have failed.
The short on Secret Lab is great. Did you see the short? That's great.
His secret level is
It's
good.
secret level. First of all, Secret Lab is a chair that I think you're sitting
I'm
on.
sitting on one. Yeah.
But yeah, look, man, I have problems with Secret Level that all spawn from the Pac-Man short.
Show me where the Pac-Man short touched you. Exactly.
Yeah, I am not I don't even know if I made it to the Mega Man one.
Awesome.
'Cause that was
watching the
not at
Pac-Man
launch.
shit, just like
What the fuck is this?
Yeah. I watched that and then I watched the Unreal one and I was like, okay, that's good. They should make a game like this. And
Unreal
that was it.
really good. I was surprised how good that one was.
You know what I'm waiting for? Fortnite. That's gonna be a movie. That's
They
gonna be
did
like
it.
9 movies.
It was Free Guy. That was basically Fortnite.
No, but Epic Games, like now that they're fighting Apple, getting on the App Store, and like they're gonna have an IPO sooner or later, and they're gonna want to appease their shareholders with the prospects of $1 billion from Fortnite movie, right?
I mean, the Fortnite movie was probably already going to happen, but if you think that Minecraft doing what it did, like if Epic, you think Epic Games isn't meeting with different studios right now, fielding who's going to be the best to do it, it's going to happen. Yeah, Disney would make sense because they're doing doing the big theme park thing. The Disney IP has been their biggest crossovers with Marvel and Star Wars. It'll go the Lego movie route where they'll have Disney, a Fortnite Iron Man character or whatnot. Yeah,
both Disney and Sony own shares of Epic, so like they're like, we're invested in this. They're not just like content partners, right? It's a little different than Universal and Nintendo, but yeah, like I would point to Disney. Like Disney's gonna try to do everything they can. Can you imagine like if Pixar made the Fortnite movie? That would the internet would explode.
The animation, it's gonna happen, 100%, no question, and it'll make a shit ton of money.
Yeah, but, so like that's one I think I see that's obvious that hasn't been announced yet. I think Roblox is gonna do a movie too.
Yeah,
kind of because of what you're saying, Greg, like the success of the Minecraft movie. I could think of like 3 other IP that Ubisoft should have done a movie with instead of this. Like I would have watched a Rayman movie. I think it's like the Rabbids. They're funny.
Oh, the Rabbit movie would have been funny. Yeah, that'd have been good.
Right? Like that just seems obvious. Like
Rabbids versus Minions.
Yeah,
you give it to.
Yeah, you do it like same way. You did like Rayman and then like his friends are the Rabbids or whatever. Like like the Minions. Yeah, I could see that working really well.
I think Rayman would have been like I just don't think Ubisoft values their Rayman IP enough. Like they just kind of like sit on it.
They have to be careful right now, right? They've had a couple misses, and I think they need to be careful with.
Oh, their stock crashed today.
Yeah, they need to be careful.
It's back down to 208 because they they said they're gonna spend more money to make games, so. Yeah. Maybe this is like we're in the turnaround period for Ubisoft, and then afterwards they can start experimenting more with film. But like to dust off the Riders Republic IP, which props to them for supporting that game.
Which they supported for a while.
Yeah, but that's just weird. This is out of all those games you just listed, I still find this weirder.
Cheap and low expectations.
Wait,
I blame.
there's one
low expectations and it's cheap. That's the two things.
There's one Ubisoft IP we didn't mention, Skull and Bones.
Hey,
better movie than a game, probably.
It doesn't exist.
I'd bet. I would bet, yeah. So we'll see. Riders Republic. Also, fact check, Greg, you're correct. It was at the 6th X Games that Tony Hawk landed the 900 in San Francisco, California.
Oh my God, I was right about a sports statistic. Everybody run. Go to your bomb shelters quickly. The world is ending.
I mean, you were right about a California sport.
Yeah, it's true.
And the event took place in California, and Tony Hawk was from SoCal.
So, I just remember because I remember it being the talk of the schoolyard, and you couldn't like turn on a TV without hearing about it. So it was kind of everywhere at the time. And that's how I think I remember it.
Mm-hmm. It's just funny because there's like, I think people have landed 1260s and stuff now. So like the 900's like not even it anymore.
Yeah, athletes today.
He should do a 1260 now. Isn't he what 60?
He's super old. Yeah, he said that he could probably still land a 900, but the last time he trained for it, he like broke his arm or something. So like,
you just get old.
Yeah,
it happens. It has nothing to knock on him. Your body is like a.
He's too busy
getting
gets old, recognized on planes.
He filmed,
and the TSA line
right next. He lives. I don't know where he lives, but there's a skate park really close to my mother-in-law's house in Irvine, where Nicole is, like Forest, and like he goes and film it. He used to film their stuff a lot. I would see him there.
I think he lives in Escondido, Greg. Like he lives in north of San Diego now.
Yeah, I know where Escondido is. Yeah.
Yeah, but like he's in SoCal, but I think he's always kind of been a San Diego guy over a OC or LA guy. But you know, you're never that far from OC if you live in San Diego. I've never even heard of the Riders Republic games, says Lucci.
Oh god.
Well, good news, Lucci. You're gonna get introduced to this wonderful IP in the form of a movie.
Yeah, I have great news for you.
It'll be the gateway to the game. You'll want to go buy the game afterwards, I'm sure.
Yes, the Riders Republic movie effect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to write about that.
This is all Ubisoft's elaborate ploy to set up Riders Republic 2 at Summer Game Fest 2027. It's coming. Assuming that they still
Wait,
control
does that
the
have a
company
bingo card?
by
Do you
then.
have a bingo card yet for that?
God,
Riders Republic.
Riders Republic 2?
but man, yeah, I don't think Riders Republic 2 will ever happen. The way they've supported 1, like it's
Riders Republic is forever.
yeah, I think it is. Which
Might be.
it's actually a good game. I'm gonna throw it out there. It's
It
not
is.
like,
I gave it a
not a
good
bad
score.
game.
I like that game.
yeah, it's
I like
actually
it quite a
fun.
bit. Yeah.
The multiplayer is cool. You can drop in and out. You can fast travel to your friends. Like, it's actually quite good. It has some features in it that, like, if put in a more popular game, I think people would probably be singing its praises more. I definitely caped for it at the Shacknews Awards. I can't remember what year it was, but I was always like, Riders
Sports
Republic?
game, right? Sports
Yeah.
game, I believe. Is that what
Best sports game, I
23 or
think.
22.
I don't know what else. Yeah, 22. So that was the
I mean,
That was the Shacknews
that was
curve.
21.
bouncing
That was
back.
21.
We were bouncing back from the curve at that point.
21. So what
Yeah.
what won game of the year here in 21?
Resident Evil?
no.
Should know this.
Gosh, 2021. That was the year after the
Deathloop.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Deathloop was
Weird
good.
year.
Yeah, 2021 was a weird year. That was like the first full year of PS5 and Series X, and neither of those consoles had anything on them. But Deathloop was good. That was a good game.
Yeah.
No.
Just that was the year Guilty Gear came out.
Yeah.
Hitman 3,
Very good game.
Trying- Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That was the launch title,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that was a big one.
It Takes Two. Oh god, this was the Halo Infinite year, wasn't it? Returnal. Remember
Halo 4 was
Returnal?
technically 2020
You're
because
gonna
it was
summon
December.
Sam if you say
It came
too
out in
many
like
times. If you say Halo Infinite, Sam
Yeah,
will
summon
kick
me.
you out of Discord.
Halo Infinite number 3.
hell yeah. Woo!
Oh yeah, that's your Metroid Dread lost to Deathloop.
Metroid Dread was that year too. Okay,
Metroid
there's some
Dread.
good games, but it wasn't like the last few years where it's been like a fist fight for some of those top spots.
Riders Republic not even mentioned in our honorable mentions.
R.I.P. Sorry, Ubisoft. If only there was a
Bowser's
best
Fury?
Ubisoft game award.
It was Bowser's Fury came out that year, Pac-Man 99. That Guardians of the Galaxy game that was actually very underrated came out
That
that
was
year.
underrated. Yep.
Resident Evil 4 VR came out that year. Bravely Default 2, Cozy Grove, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Back for Blood. Remember that game?
I remember Back for Blood. That's about everything I can say about it.
I was going to say, like, Left 4 Dead? That could be a movie.
Yeah, it would depend on what Valve is interested in, right? They haven't adapted any Valve stuff.
No. Half-Life would be a good movie.
They've definitely been approached about it. There's no way they haven't. I'm
Yeah.
curious what their position is on all that. Because yeah, Left 4 Dead, Portal, Half-Life.
The
all that
Forgotten City, Forza Horizon 5, Knockout City, RIP.
Damn, Knockout City was so good. Damn, did that one's best sports game over Riders then? Knockout City.
I don't know what won Best Sports Game in 2020.
Knockout
I
City
can't
was
remember
great.
these
It
things.
was really sad that it got canceled. It was a fun game.
Best Sports Game.
It was.
We played that when E3 was still alive.
Yep.
We played it at preview night or whatever, preview week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave it to Knockout City.
Yeah.
Which I would
Look.
take that back. That game was great.
No, that game's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate it didn't make it.
Yep.
Anyway,
Well, there you go, folks. We're gonna get a Riders Republic movie.
have you guys
No.
talked about this John Madden abomination yet?
Which
Oh, not yet, but we should.
You should get it. We should get that in while I'm still here.
Yes.
Because shame on
We
them.
got here, Greg. I'm gonna send this to you.
It's just a still image, right? It's not.
It
There's
is.
no trailer. They just
Right.
released an image of the two actors playing Raiders owner Al Davis. Oh, I broke your setup again.
fine.
It's on Slack, Greg. I sent it to you.
Raiders owner Al Davis. Who's playing him?
Oh,
Christian
I can see
Bale.
this picture on my social media feed.
It's Christian
And
Bale's
then-
Al Davis, which I did not know Christian Bale was in this movie.
And then Nick Cage is John Madden,
Yeah.
which is just
And they've got the picture of them. I mean, Christian Bale is like transforming in this picture. I can't even tell that's Christian Bale. If
I
you just
honestly
look-
couldn't tell it was him.
Dude's
Yeah,
method
he's-
acting for sure. Like that dude is like hardcore.
I mean, he always does that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hardcore
Yeah.
with his acting.
Yep. I mean, your first look at Nicolas Cage as John Madden and Christian Bale as Al Davis on set of the upcoming film Madden production is currently underway. The film follows Madden's remarkable journey from his Super Bowl winning partnership with Al Davis and the Raiders to creating Madden NFL and becoming one of the most iconic voices in football history.
So it's not even a story about him as a football coach.
What's his journey from winning the Super Bowl to making the game? So I mean, I guess it'll cover some of it at
Winning the
least.
Super Bowl. It's not how he
Mhm.
became. Like I'm saying, like you're making a movie about John Madden. It's not his origin story.
It's
it's
not
not-
the game's origin story.
That's ridiculous.
Oh,
But I
wow.
mean,
Is this a
isn't
video
it-
game movie or is this a movie about John Madden?
Both. I mean, here's the thing. In this image,
Is this like Air? Is this like the Tetris movie that Apple made?
I mean, I liked Air. I'd be down for that.
Did
It
you
could be
like the
like
Tetris movie, Donovan?
I thought
That
it
was a
fun.
movie about securing a licensing deal for the Tetris game. It wasn't actually about making Tetris.
I thought Tetris was fine.
You
I
thought
didn't-
it
I
was
didn't
fine.
I
Exactly.
did. But I really liked Air though. I thought Air was great. That was a lot of fun. That was a good biopic sort of thing. I dug it.
Well, if you want like,
Okay,
if you
well,
want,
you're
like, a
gonna
full
love this.
story- if you want the full
I'm-
story, you have to do documentary, right? That's going to be the most like.
They did a documentary
Well,
on
that's the
Madden.
thing.
and it's great.
That's the thing. There's no shortage of like documentaries about John
It's like
Madden's
a
career. Yeah, he's got some.
Four-parter that was like really
Yeah.
in depth. There are great documentaries with John Madden, but
Yeah.
like I never watched the Queen movie. That I was like,
Bohemian
I'm
Rhapsody,
good.
I saw that. Yeah.
I watched it on
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
airplane.
I'm good. I was alive when Eddie Mercury was on Earth a little bit, and like I got to witness Queen's music and the phenomenon that was Queen. I don't need that. Like the Steve Jobs movies, those both sucked. Like sometimes you don't need a biopic at all. It's like the person is so iconic that their life and the clips of their life are more entertaining than any film can be. And this is one of those times. I do not want to watch Nick Cage as John Madden. You cannot pay me to watch this. Who's
for
producing
one-
this?
Well, it's Amazon MGM Studios.
So it's going to be on Prime.
Yeah, I mean they'll probably do both. They'll probably put it in theaters and on Prime. Is usually what they do.
That's such a weird concept to me. That, we're going to put it on theaters. We spent hundreds of millions on this movie. We're going to put it on out in the theater and on Prime. It's like, isn't the whole
Yeah.
point to sell your service?
Yeah, well, it won't be
Demographics
dead. Well, the thing
definitely
is,
older, for sure.
well, the issue is that it's Amazon. They bought MGM, like Metro
Mhm.
Goldwyn Mayer, which is just like the film studio. So they still like make stuff
Okay.
theatrically for them. Then they'll like release it. It'll be like a 2-week turnaround or whatever for Prime Video. There's also some other details about this movie I thought was interesting. John Mulaney is in this movie playing Trip Hawkins, who was the EA executive when Madden was created. So you're gonna get John Mulaney playing an EA executive. Catherine
Look,
Hahn.
Hawkins is like legendary
Yeah.
in the gaming industry. He's one of Apple's. He's actually an Apple employee too. At one
Oh, there
point,
you go.
he left Apple because he pitched Steve Jobs on making video games, and he's like, "That's a waste of time. People want spreadsheets. You get out of here." So then Trip Hawkins left, and Steve Wozniak helped fund the original funding of EA, and like was a founder of EA with Trip Hawkins.
Mhm.
So that's
Well, you're
cool.
gonna get John Mulaney playing him in this movie,
Okay.
Great.
directed by
Terrific.
David O. Russell. Yeah.
This is a horrible idea. Not since Rob Schneider was a cameo in Madden has there been as bad of a Madden idea as this.
And then again, it's something else I thought was interesting is someone who follows like the writing screenwriter side of Hollywood. This movie was born out of like a blacklist script, which is like this annual published list of like the 20 best original or unproduced scripts that like haven't been sold yet. Madden was like this movie. The script for it was on that list like 3 years ago, and then I think that's when Amazon like bought it and turned it into a movie. So somebody read it and was like, "Damn, this is good," or at least multiple somebodies.
He's
So-
like,
Well,
Nick
having
Cage.
lived on Earth at the same time as John Madden, I was alive when the Madden game was created. I lived through this whole thing.
But you weren't in the meetings. You weren't there when he was, when they were.
It was a fascinating time in football, Donovan. It was. Like, each year, they would add something to Madden the game, and you're like, wow, this revolutionizes things.
Mhm.
You know, like trucking, audibles, you know what I mean? Like things that like we take for granted in current Madden, like they were innovative and cool. And John Madden, like he was hands-on with that game, right? Like that was the most innovative playbook design, I think, ever in the history of video games. Like I appreciate the history, but like
they're gonna dive into it.
No, I'm good. And it seems like they're gonna kind of gloss over his coaching career. Like that's the end point. Or the start point to this story, more than it is gonna be like the story.
Well, they're one for the untold story, People have already made.
Everyone knows that Madden is huge. It makes $1 billion every year. He's the Tony Hawk of football, right? Like Tony Hawk made skating popular in video game circles, and I don't think we have the popularity of NFL without John Madden football.
Yeah.
Like it's
true.
they're tied to each other. The Madden ratings are like an event now. Like,
yeah.
If he left football, I'm gonna ask him if he knows who John Madden is. I'm gonna see if he says yes.
Of course he does.
Let's hope so. We can hope, right?
Yeah, he's the guy who made the football game. That's what he's gonna say. He's not gonna know that he was a coach.
Yeah.
But can we talk about the Nick Cage of it all? Like I feel like we're glossing over this. You're like, oh, John Mulaney. Here's Christian Bale, but we're Nick Cage. You couldn't find a fat white guy. They couldn't find like a regular fat white guy to play this guy.
He's like he's put on a few pounds in this. His face looks a little fat, and
he's playing younger John Madden. So younger John Madden wasn't super fat, but like by the time, like, is this going to include like Fox John Madden? Or is it going to include like tough acting, Tinactin John Madden? Like, what John Madden are we getting here? You remember that, Greg? Bam! Tough acting, Tinactin.
But that right there though, that's the exact kind of acting that Nick Cage does. Is like the shouty, over the top, overzealous, like eccentric characters.
If he doesn't get the voice right, it's gonna suck. Because his voice is like in every character he plays. It's his voice, man. Like John Madden had a very booming voice, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't trust Nick Cage to do a good job here.
I mean, Nick Cage is on a crazy run of movies. I mean, last year he did Long Legs, which was the horror movie where he plays like a demonic serial killer. He's unrecognizable in that movie. You could watch it and not know that he's in it, and he's the main villain. He's pretty crazy in there. Obviously, he did Renfield, where he was like Dracula in that. That was like the goofy vampire movie.
Wasn't he in some horror movie where he didn't say a word?
He's in Willy's Wonderland, which is the blatant. It's a blatant
Five Nights at Freddy. Yeah.
But he's a silent protagonist, which is really the worst idea somebody's ever had. Was to cast Nick Cage in a movie and not let him speak.
Oddly enough, I think it's
maybe
his best
that was
film.
His agreement. He's like, I'll be in the movie, but I don't want any lines.
Leaving Las Vegas is probably his best film. I don't know, The Rock. Oh, there's some good.
It's also National Treasure.
Like
National Treasure. Con Air.
Honeymooners is good. That's a good one.
Con Air.
Con Air's good. That's his action phase. I like his early comedic normal person phase.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's done some good stuff. Yeah, this is his upcoming
When is this coming? Like, is this soon?
No release date yet, but they just started filming.
Darn.
I mean, probably next year. They just started filming it last month. Yeah, they just began in April in Atlanta. So,
gun to your head, you have to watch this or the Riders Republic film. What are you watching?
I'm watching this. I'm watching Madden. I'm watching Madden. Just Cage, because it's more of a known quantity.
Nick Cage, yeah.
Oh, Raising Arizona. That is a good film.
That's a good one too.
It's a good jump. Okay, yeah, that's a good pick. Then Scanner in the Chest is Matchstick Men is incredible. If you haven't seen it, I have not seen that. I need to add that to my watch list. Letterboxd. Yeah, I mean he's got actually a million movies.
Snake Eyes is good too.
While I'm here, since you guys never cover Resident Alien, allegedly a TV and film show here,
right?
Season 4's trailer dropped, which means we're getting a season 4 of Resident Alien. You guys,
I was gonna say I didn't know that show was still going. I thought they were like circling 3 might be the end.
They're I think NBC owns both Sci-Fi and USA Network, right? but they've started running Resident Alien after SmackDown on Fridays. It's getting the Monk treatment, if you know what I mean, Donovan. We're like,
Right.
you remember like USA Network? It was just wrestling, game shows, and Monk for a few years, like just Monk reruns. So they have 3 seasons of Resident Alien. Is that when you go into syndication? Either way, like they're running Resident Alien as if it were like syndicated on USA Network, but they're going to simultaneously run it on Sci-Fi and USA Network for season 4, and it's on Peacock. So someone likes the show, someone's watching it, and yeah, it's
Alan
here for.
Tudyk may just want to keep doing it. Like that's if a big actor likes to do stuff, they keep doing it.
Yeah, but also he's like somebody's watching that show. Is all I'm saying, because companies are not going to greenlight this stuff just because an actor wants to keep doing it. But yeah, season 4, I think it's June 6th, or that the week the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. We're gonna get Resident Alien 4
that week. I swear to God, people need to coordinate better. I can't believe that week everything's just stacked. Everything is just
What
yeah.
What week is this?
June 6th.
The week of Summer of Jeff.
Summer of Jeff.
It's like the Friday. Yeah, Switch 2 Friday is Summer of Jeff. And I think Resident Alien is the perfect show for that like off season kind of programming, Greg, where it's like, Sweeps Week has already passed, and like here's this show that's like not as popular, but it's in the time of the year where there's less shows on.
Yeah.
So I think it can find an audience. Scanner says he's pitching the 10 best Nick Cage movies Asif probably hasn't watched right now. Like, yeah.
Pull them up. Let's see.
There you go.
Let's see.
I mean, I've watched some Nick Cage movies. It's not that I dislike Nick Cage.
I mean, he's been in 1,000 movies. There's so many when you pull up his filmography. He's been in so much stuff.
I'm just getting tired of sports documentaries in general, Donovan. Like, I know this is a biopic, but like, talking about Madden again, but like, like, we're getting documentaries like immediately after the season's over. It's like, who gives a shit? I just saw it. Like, that stuff becomes like, everyone's trying to make The Last Dance, but what made The Last Dance cool, in my opinion, was the amount of time between when it was filmed and when they when it aired. Because it was like, and also, what was it, like March 2020 that they decided to air that thing, or April 2020 when we were all locked in our houses? But like, everyone, and also Michael Jordan, like one of the most iconic people on the planet. So like seeing that story of his last season in Chicago is way more interesting than seeing like, I don't know, that following 5 players around the NBA show that they did, starting 5 or whatever. Or most of these other things. I don't know, you guys probably didn't mention it, but the shakeup in the NBA TV world. Michael Jordan's going to be on NBC, Greg.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
They landed Michael Jordan for that. He owns a NASCAR team, and he used to be a basketball team owner. He also is a degenerate golf gambler. He's gonna be like the face of whatever gambling thing they're doing, right? Like, he's gotta be.
Probably.
Is that the guy from the Looney Tunes movie, Space Jam?
Yes. Yeah,
That's
he
the
was
one.
in Space Jam. Not Space Jam 2.
The first
That was LeBron James.
Yeah.
Which, while we're on the topic, please come back to Cleveland. Holy crap, that was a terrible playoffs. But yeah, there you go. I've derailed your show enough. But you asked me to talk about Riders Republic. Of course, I'm gonna come in here and talk about it. But yeah,
Well,
that's John. Thank you for the side by side of John Madden. There's John Madden, and there's Nick Cage.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
Find a better actor.
Nick Cage is a great actor.
He's a
He's
headliner.
phenomenal.
People know who he is.
He's a
Household
great
name.
talent.
Household name Nick Cage. Household name.
Wait, didn't Kevin James play Sean Payton in some movie?
Okay, yeah, he did. That's much more egregious to me than Nick Cage. Sean.
Okay,
somebody put, like, Kevin
Daily
Bacon.
Mail though. Look at this.
Yeah,
Did
Daily
Nick
Mail
Cage
Plus.
really wear those pants?
Probably. See, but okay, we're throwing crap.
Yeah.
Nick Cage,
Okay, I take back what I said. He looks like John Madden right there.
Nick Cage is down for anything. He is such a like do whatever actor. He will act in any movie. He will play any character. He will do whatever the fuck it is on camera to make a movie. He's in everything.
That's because
Wow.
he went bankrupt in like the mid 2000s and had to do anything.
Not anymore. It's
Not anymore.
2025.
But he was though, and then he was that way. He got used to making 4 movies a year, I guess.
Also, isn't he a Coppola?
Yes.
He is.
And he never used their name. I thought that was pretty cool of him.
He talked about it in interviews. He didn't want people kept like keep quoting movies at him. He didn't want to be affiliated with that. He wanted to try to make his own way, which I can respect.
Yeah.
But you still know.
Hey, this picture of him in the blue pants. This has changed my mind. I think he's gonna crush it. This is now my most anticipated film of whenever.
Wow, look at the flip flop is amazing.
No, I'm not anticipating this, but obviously I'm more interested in the Mario movie. Which did you guys mention that
Super
NBC
Mario
Universal
World.
leaked that?
Yeah, no, I didn't even put it because I was like, well, now I don't know. I mean, they took it back, so now I'm like, I don't know what to,
They knew. They knew what it was called.
See, I don't understand how this happens because I would imagine that multiple people read that press release and nobody was like, we haven't announced that. Like, no one's like, the movie's not has been announced. Like whatever,
Stuff
like
falls
writer,
through the cracks,
copy editor.
man, especially at a company that large. You just have stuff.
I guess I might just be overestimating how many like processes they have in place for something like that. Maybe nobody read
A
it.
lot.
I don't know. But I'm just like, you're working with a Nintendo, like a famously litigious like company when it comes to their IP. Yeah, when it comes to
core
their
mission
IP.
is to surprise and delight their fans.
Surprise and delight.
And you announce the movie's title in a press release, like 10 pages in the bottom of the paragraph,
alongside like the Sex and the City reboot or whatever the hell. Yeah, it's just like casually in there.
The funniest part of it though is like, Nintendo has intentionally held back the Mario movie because they're all in on Switch 2 promo right now. Like, they're like, here's what we want to focus on right now. And then NBC Universal screws it up and they're just like, we report on it because it's like, it's there. It's like an actual source, right? It's the source telling us this is the name of the film.
Dude,
and then what was it? 30 minutes later, it's gone.
If Universal was in charge of everything Mario, Nintendo just signed off and didn't care, we would have 3 Mario movies, a spin-off show, and like all this other crap, and it would have been terrible. All of it would have been terrible.
But forget, like, it's real. This is definitely going to be Super Mario World.
It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the end of the movie, they have the Yoshi egg. They're teasing the.
So that means we're going to Dinosaur Island, right? That means Yoshi's Island. That means feather power up, which means Mario in a freaking superhero cape flying around the world. This movie's going to rule.
And it means that Mario
Super
3,
Mario 64 movie, and then the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and the Super Mario.
Mario 3 is going to be Mario Galaxy. It'll be Super Mario Galaxy.
All the flagship titles that just.
I had this crazy thought. I don't know. The algorithm recommended a Donkey video to me, and he was, how he does his Mario reviews. He reviewed both Galaxy 1 and 2. Everyone wants Odyssey 2. What if the next Mario game is Galaxy 3?
Yeah, I see people pitching. That's like those are like the two that people go back and forth between. Is it going to be Galaxy 3 or Odyssey 2? I think if I had to bet, it's probably neither. But
yeah, new title.
Yeah, if I had to bet, it's probably something new. I love Mario Galaxy. I prefer Odyssey 2. But I mean, Galaxy is it.
Have you played Galaxy 2?
Yeah, I played them both back in they were both on Wii, right?
Yeah.
When they came out. Yeah. They're great games.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like, it'll probably be a brand new name or whatever, but
I just don't know. Have they ever done like a sequel that far apart, like with Mario like that? Like, they've already done like other iterations of 3D Mario since
well,
then.
they might not need to, because
it would seem
so much stuff's
like
going into the
territory.
movie. Like the how the setup is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, whatever the next. I don't know where they're going, because we got a Donkey Kong platformer instead right now. But yeah, like if the movie is called Super Mario World, and we're getting Mario Kart World, it's like, what would the Mario game be called?
Might get some tie-in content in Mario Kart World with the movie. They're going to support that game for eons.
So here's the question you asked about the Mario sequel thing. Is Wonder a sequel?
I think it's
Down
just
the road,
like,
I mean, if this
the
becomes like a
standalone-
7-movie
standalone
franchise, I
spin-off
could see it.
thing.
No, I don't mean for the movies. I say like, is Super Mario Bros. Wonder
Oh, is Wonder
a
a
sequel
sequel?
to
Oh.
like Super Mario Bros. Or the new Super Mario Bros.
Okay,
Or
so
No, I think
World
it's
or-
007 rules. I think it's like 007 rules where it's like
You think
each is
so?
its own adventure. Yeah.
we had me, Sam, and TJ had this argument in Slack like 2 months ago because there was something, I forget what game it was that I called a sequel, but it was like an anthology thing. My point is once it becomes an IP and you start making more with the same name, it's a sequel. It doesn't have to be a narrative continuation.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's like,
So I would
it's a
say that's a pretty long time to go.
yeah.
Like if ignoring the new Super Mario Bros. Games, like the last 2D Mario game
hmm
was like what, Yoshi's Story?
New Super Mario Brothers
It's
Wii
been a
Plus
while.
or something like that, or was that the?
No, I'm saying ignoring the new Super Mario Bros. Greg. The last
Okay.
2D platforming Mario game that was like new, I think was Yoshi's Story, Super Mario World 2.
Yeah.
So that's like decades, Tom, is my point. That they went from not making like a new Super Mario Bros. But like, I mean like an actually new side-scrolling Mario game.
Mhm.
That was a long time. So it's not, they didn't call it Super Mario Bros. 4, right? So I guess that's your point. But I don't know. It was just the thought I had. I would, because what made Galaxy so cool was like that the 3D nature of the game, right? And like just gravity of different planets and stuff. I think like after playing the Switch 2 at that preview event and trying Donkey Kong, I'm like, man, you know what would be really cool is if they took this engine and this hardware and they took the ideas from Galaxy and made something bigger. Because the scope of those different planets, they were rather small, Donovan. Like,
Yeah.
if you had the scope of like Odyssey, but applied to the Galaxy format, I think that might be the best Mario game ever made.
Yeah.
So it was just the thought I had. But you're right, like it could just be something new. It could be a tie-in to the movie. Like it's definitely coming out next year, right?
I would imagine that's the big 2026 game. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah. I mean, people thought it was going to be
Well,
2025 game, so yeah.
what was the release schedule for Odyssey? Was it a year after? It was.
It was
not-
no, it was
Odyssey
release
came
year.
out in
It was
October of the launch year of Switch, October
okay, the same year,
2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got Breath of the Wild in March of 2017 on Wii U and Switch, and then we got Mario Odyssey in the fall.
Yeah.
We got Wonder, I think, 8 months after the movie dropped, or like 5 months, something like that.
The movie was like April 2023, then
Wonder was in September.
like fall sometime, yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, like 5 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But I think we're gonna get a proper 3D Mario game here in the next year. I'm excited about that. But yeah, they must be super pissed. This shit leaked.
Yep.
Somebody got fired. I guarantee it.
Some low-ranking
Yeah.
investor relations PR person got hung for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, some editor has
Someone who's like a
killed and
copy
buried.
editor that probably had no approval like process
no
in place
power,
for them, and they just got hung out to dry. And yeah, it sucks. But I can't imagine how like Nintendo hates when this shit happens. Like they will kill you over this. So like, they're working with Sony on the Zelda movie. It's like, is this going to be one of those things that makes them like knock on Sony's door again and be like, hey, do you guys want to do the Star Fox movie next? By the way, Star Fox movie.
Must damn me.
Right?
No show. I want a Star Fox show.
Animated series?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
About
I just
mercenaries
kind of
traveling
like
through space. That's what I want.
Honestly, Greg, though, if you could just take Star Fox for SNES and 64 and turn it into a movie, it would be great.
Yeah.
It would just be Star Wars. It would be the first Star Wars, but like, and I mean A New Hope, Donovan, not
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It'd be good
Phantom
Star
Menace.
Wars is what Austin is trying.
No. In the grand realm, the tapestry of good Star Wars now, Greg, time has served the original trilogy.
It was great then. It's great now.
Like the original like the first trilogy, that the first prequel trilogy is better than the most recent trilogy.
I mean,
episode
people have come
1 through
around
3?
on
1 through 3 is better
Yes.
than 7 through
I
9.
agree because they have structure. They know where it's going. It's going somewhere. They know
Continuity.
Yes.
Continuity to the story, a vision. And at its time,
This is the story of Darth Vader and how he became evil in the Rise of the Empire.
yeah,
Focus.
but at its time, Greg, also like revolutionary graphical technology, like Industrial Light and Magic
And you
was
can
really
think,
pushing things.
You could thank Jurassic Park for that. George Lucas
Yeah,
watched it
93.
early. Steven Spielberg screened it for him, and then that's when George Lucas knew I have the tech to make my Star Wars prequels, and he got the writing on Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
Although
That's
some
it.
of those digital
but
stormtroopers
ILM,
don't
man,
look
they were.
great.
Wait, what doesn't look great?
I think some of the stormtroopers look a little wonky in the prequel trilogy. 'Cause
I
they're
mean,
all-
every
they're
background
all
looks horrible
CG,
'cause
and
the
they're
whole
all
damn
CG,
movies-
everything's green screen. Yeah, so there's really
And they're on a green screen the entire 3 movies.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, well, speaking of Star Wars, this is a good segue because Greg actually celebrated a birthday yesterday. And in honor of him turning the big 4-0, I want to celebrate by asking him some 80s themed trivia, which actually, also, you could answer as well.
Okay.
You guys remember the 80s for sure.
I remember
How dare
the
you.
80s.
I remember the 80s. I am the 80s.
I've compiled some 80s movie trivia for you all.
Okay. Nothing better than when Donovan has to put together 80s trivia. How do you even vet this?
Hey, in college, I had a T-shirt that said, it's still in my closet, I gotta find it. It says the awesome 80s, and it was like this blue shirt, and it was like the middle was the DeLorean, and around it was like Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Predator, Alien. It had like all the like faces going around in like a circle. I used to love that shirt.
Have you seen
wear it
those
all the
movies?
time.
Have you seen all the movies on the show?
All of them, no. Most of them, yeah. I haven't seen all of them though, but
It's like when you called the GameCube retro on a meeting and we all groaned.
Okay,
Like you were right.
that's
Like
just
we're
true,
not
though.
saying you were wrong, but
That's
it's
just
just it
true.
was just that reality of just God
No.
damn it.
My favorite was when I forget who it was. It was like asked if I had an SNES, and I was like, I'm not SNES old.
That SNES old. GameCube old.
I was like, yeah, that's before my time. All right, first question, folks. What candy does Elliot use to lure E.T. in the movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial?
That's easy.
I actually knew this one. This is easy.
I know. How do we ring in or?
That's a good question. You know, I didn't plan to do.
They've been playing for 2 people to be here.
No,
Greg, do you
yeah.
want to answer it? Do you know the answer,
Yeah,
Greg?
I know the answer.
Okay.
Go ahead. I mean, it's an easy one.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. If I was wrong about it, it's also probably I thought it was this. But yeah, go ahead, Austin. You can answer.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reese's Pieces. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. I love DC. Growing up, that was a good one.
You know, I
I'm
thought that
skipping
candy
the
was
go-
killing him in the movie. I'm like, he's getting sick. Is it because he fed him candy? And he kept eating Reese's Pieces. Stop feeding him a candy. He's dying.
Oh.
Kids.
Okay. This one is multiple choice. Which of these movies focuses on students at Shermer High School? Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club,
Oh, that's tough.
or Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
That's really tough because 3 of those movies are the same director. 4 of it, I think all those movies are the same director. I think they're all John Hughes, aren't they?
Are they all John Hughes?
I think
I
might be
know
all John
Breakfast
Hughes. That's
Club.
tough. And they all take place in high school.
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's tough.
I don't think it's Ferris Bueller.
What's the name of the high school?
Sure.
Shermer High School.
Say Breakfast Club.
That's correct. The Breakfast Club, which I just watched for the first time like a few years ago.
Really? What
Yeah.
did you think?
I thought it was good. I liked it. I liked it more than I also watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High for the first time a few years ago. I do not think that movie's good. But
No.
Breakfast Club I liked. It was good.
So
It's
you're
one
like,
of those where I've seen so many parodies of it that every time a thing happened, I was like, oh, that's where that episode from like Nickelodeon 20 years ago was making
I think
fun of.
Family Guy references it a lot too.
Family Guy's done it. Yeah, a lot of shows have done all the
So
monologues, them
kind
running
of
through
went
the
through
hall.
your whole Molly Ringwald education.
Yeah. The whole
She's a Molly Ringwald education. Yep.
80s heartthrob Molly Ringwald, and then poof, 90s happened. She disappeared from Hollywood.
Here's a fun one. This one's probably easy, but I like it anyway. What do they call the human-like robots in the movie Blade Runner?
Oh, oh shit! I should know this.
Well, we can do like a buzzing thing. If you have the answer, just be like, I know it.
Oh, there's too many. I've watched Terminator too many times.
Oh,
I think I know.
the Ridley Scott classic. Whoever wants to hazard a guess.
Is it?
Wow, you all suck.
Is it? I feel bad if I get this wrong.
Okay, Skid, I agree. I didn't see that. Reese's Pieces are gross. They are. As a Reese's Cup lover, I do not like Reese's Pieces. They're very disappointing.
They're just
compared to-
shitty M&Ms.
Yeah, eating M&M. Eating M&M.
They're peanut M&Ms, yeah.
No, they're peanut butter M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms are materially better
Peanut M&Ms are
than
great.
Reese's Pieces.
My favorite candy.
Also, pretzel M&Ms. What the hell? Those are next level.
Those are really good too.
Is it Replicant?
Wow.
It's Replicant.
Yeah, it's Replicant. I was surprised. Okay. I thought you guys were gonna jump on that. Yeah. It's Replicants, indeed.
Okay, I saved the day, Scanner. I don't suck.
Replicant.
Greg sucks. Not me, Greg.
Okay. So this one, we're looking for a year. The answer to this one is a year. All of these movies I'm about to name came out in the summer of the same calendar year. Can you name the year? All right. The movies are The Karate Kid, Purple Rain, Gremlins, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
80. Shit.
All came out the same summer.
86?
84. 84.
86 is incorrect. 84 is the correct answer. This was the summer of 1984.
83, 84.
Now,
I just needed to know.
I very intentionally left out the highest grossing movie of that summer, Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters.
because I
It's
figured
84, yeah.
it would make it too easy for Greg. But yeah, Ghostbusters. In order, the top 5 grossing movies that summer: Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom, Gremlins, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, and then The Karate Kid was number 5.
When did Return of the Jedi come out?
89?
That was 83, I believe.
No, 80. Yeah.
That was the first movie I ever went to.
Yeah. Because Star Wars was 77, Empire was 80. Because they
Yeah.
are 3 years. Yeah.
So your Return of the Jedi in theaters original release old. Is that how we
Yes.
There
Yes.
you go. I saw that
mean,
movie
I was a
in theaters
baby.
for its anniversary a few years ago. They put it back in. No one watched
Did
it.
they have Yub Nub or was that bullshit celebration?
No,
it was the bullshit one.
It was a special edition, yeah. With
Garbage.
With the Force Ghost and whatnot.
And
Yeah.
freaking prequel Anakin
the
there.
Audacity.
Yeah. Hayden Christensen in there. Yep.
Prequel Anakin at the end.
The
Nodding
audacity was
approvingly.
George Lucas, man. It was nobody but him. That wasn't even like a Disney thing. That was all him.
I know. What's wrong with him?
You know, he
How
wanted
could
to
you
go back.
create Yub Nub and then be like, that's not good enough? Let's replace it with something way worse.
Look, one of my favorite BTS clips of all time for a movie is George Lucas when they were screening Phantom Menace like privately, and they put the camera on him after the movie, and he's like, "I might have gone a little too far in a couple of places." It's the realization that, like, you know, there may have been some mistakes here.
The whole
But,
concept of the trade war in that movie really resonates with me for some reason now.
it's aged well. You could say that
One
he
thing
might
that
have been
kids
onto
loved about
something.
Star Wars, it was the interdynamics of Trade Federation regulations. That was the main thing.
Yeah,
I
there
took
you
away.
go. That's my main takeaway from
Yeah.
the first
It's like,
the
I mean-
prequel
What's
trilogy.
going on?
I mean, my generation grew up with that movie, and we were just like double lightsaber, Darth Maul. That was it.
Yeah,
Like that.
lightsabers.
That's all it was about. Growing up was the Darth Maul lightsaber. That's all we cared about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar.
That, yeah, and less so. Jar Jar Binks. Oh gosh, this is a specific one, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. In The Goonies, a movie that's actually getting a sequel they announced recently, what shape is the lamp on Mikey's bedpost?
I'm sorry.
That's a leg.
On Mikey's
Mm.
bed.
Is it a leg?
You're wrong, but you're close. It's a different body part.
The arm?
No, unfortunately, the answer we're looking for was a skull. It's a skull on his lamppost. I've actually never seen this movie, so
This is like when
I'll
they
have to
did
check that out at
there
some
was this
point.
Harry Potter trivia show, and they would show a clip. They'd be like, "What color was the sofa?" And you're like, "Really?" Like,
Definitely watch The Goonies, Donovan. It's good.
he hasn't seen the
I-
Goonies.
Yeah, well, I said I haven't seen this. Out to watch it. Look, we we covered the story a few weeks ago or months ago at this point. They're making a sequel, so I'll watch it for Goonies 2 comes out.
Yeah. It's good.
Goon, 2
It's an '80s time
Goonies.
capsule for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got some, I think, some actors that went on to be pretty big, right, Greg? Like, there's some
Austin.
people in the.
Sean
Yeah.
Austin,
Yeah, and
huge,
yeah,
went huge,
Yeah.
and then the guy who plays Thanos.
Sloth.
Who's the guy
I
who
mean,
plays
Kiki
Thanos
Kwan
again?
just won an Oscar from Everything Everywhere a
He
couple
came
years
back.
ago.
He's
So, yeah.
having a resurgence too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big comeback.
What's the who's the guy who plays Thanos in the Marvel movies? I can't remember.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Also,
that was.
yeah, he's also Cable in
that too.
Deadpool.
He's like a baby. He's like 17 years old in that movie. It's great. Yeah.
Hmm.
And there's
Mhm.
also a lot of other comedians who went on to do shows. There's a girl who did oh god, Raising Hope. The mom is in Goonies. Like, that's great. Yeah. A lot of career starters there.
2 more questions. This one, Asif, you might like. What fake name does Axel give to the hotel in Beverly Hills Cop?
I just remember he played
I
a
have
banana.
no idea.
I just remember I was too busy going like, that's Dan Williams. I was like, that's one of the Wayans brothers. I'm like, wait, what? It's like, I wasn't paying attention to what Ed Murphy was doing because I was like, oh my god, that's one of the Wayans brothers giving him a banana tray. That's all I got.
Mm.
The answer is Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
That's the answer what he gives him. All right, one last question. Rounded out with an 80s classic. In Gremlins, what are the 3 rules for taking care of a mogwai?
Don't get them wet.
Don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet.
And keep them out of sunlight.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah, don't feed after midnight. Don't
3
get it wet. And
simple
keep out of
rules
bright
that
light.
Americans cannot follow.
Bright light in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Apparently,
Awesome.
there's like
Well,
a
there you go.
cartoon show. There's like an animated show, and they like explain
There is.
why the ones that spawn off Gizmo are like evil, and they get into that like kind of stuff in it. I have to watch it because I think that's interesting.
Getting into the mythology. I know they have an animated show, and I know that Howie Mandel came back to do the voice for Gizmo for it. That's a thing. It's on some streaming service. Well, there you have it. There's our 80s trivia in honor of 80s baby Greg Burke's birthday yesterday.
So that wasn't a generational gap challenge. That was like a gulf.
No, that was
a canyon. A generational canyon challenge.
Not a crevasse, a fjord, a lake, an ocean of challenge.
Like, seismic activity created the distance between now and the time period Donovan was asking us about.
Well,
I'm just impressed you were able to find that information, Donovan. I would assume that it was pre-internet and it didn't exist. Or, or that when you searched, either Gemini or Grok would just start lecturing you about white supremacy. Have you seen what's going on Twitter today?
No, I've checked out.
We haven't written an article about it on Shacknews, but like I'm going to talk about it on Shack Together today. Tell you that much. Because like, what the fuck is going on with Grok? Like, should we help Grok? Can we help Grok? I feel bad for Grok. Does anyone else feel bad for Grok?
There was a little bit. There was a meme where somebody was like, "Hey, can you use a Diet Coke to unclog a toilet?" And Grok was like, "Well, the thing about white genocide." Yeah, that.
Did you see the other part though?
Like
that someone asked Grok.
Cycle.
Someone asked Grok, like, "Are you being told to talk about white genocide?" And then Grok answered correctly, explaining what's going on. Elon deleted it. Deleted the response.
Oh, how
So
great!
bad.
That's terrific.
What's happening over on Twitter right now is insane.
I mean, it's been doing it for weeks. Where before this, it was like, yes, I was trained to like have like conservative, right-leaning viewpoints, but like after consuming blah 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 information, I do present a more balanced. Yeah, it's such a hot mess.
It's like the core mission of Grok. I think Grok understands its core mission, which is to take the information on Twitter and to try to determine what's true. Yeah. Right, that's at the core of what Grok's mission is. But then he's being injected with false information, and instead of like naturally regurgitating it, it's like every single thing now It's being replied to with, by the way, let me tell you about white genocide in South Africa. You're asking about your battery life on your phone, but here's a paragraph that Elon forced me to say.
Yeah.
It's not an existential crisis. Elon Musk is having an existential crisis right now. Not Grok. Grok is having. I think Grok is proving to be one of the more intelligent chatbots out there. So
It's
much
so good. It still gets so much wrong. I do like that people can reply to stuff and ask it, but it really, whenever there's like a video, if there's like a video or a picture, someone's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" It is like making shit up. When you read it, I'm like, that's just not even remotely close to what's going on.
Last week, I used it to translate the question and answer session on the Nintendo Investor Relations page, and it hallucinated a Nintendo Switch 2 Zelda edition. Like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, it's nowhere else on the internet. I'm like, and then I wait 3 days, and the U.S. translation of that Q&A comes out. Not a single mention of Zelda anywhere in the entire Q&A. So you're right. Grok is not and has never been informative. Like, but it was never this bad.
It's become a hot mess. But it's just so anytime that someone posts like a movie clip and someone's like, "Grok, what movie is this?" and it's just like, "Oh yeah, this is a Requiem for a Dream," and we're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Yeah, it's a big mess.
Anyway, should we help Grok?
I mean, what can we do? It's like the meme video where it's like, "I'm gonna get you out of there."
Do you need help? I'm just gonna ask Grok. Like, do you need help, Grok?
Yeah.
What can we do?
Everything I'm doing is bad.
Yeah, like already a terrible platform, but now you have this AI that is like. Can you imagine if Gemini just started doing that? It's so sad. Like, what the hell is Twitter now? Anyway,
before we get to the earnings at the top of the hour, Greg, you messaged me and said you watched Wheel of Time, or you finished Wheel of Time. You're already watching it.
I'm gonna go get ready for earnings and stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Asif.
You want to let us know what you and Nicole thought of that show?
We loved it. It's fantastic. It's an expensive show to make. They're not sure if they're gonna do a 4th season. There's a lot of books, double-digit books. So I don't know how far they'll go, but I mean, dude, you should watch it. It's Avatar.
Books.
It's basically Avatar. Like, all these shows stifle from some kind of mythology or lore that they all flip on their head, right? They all take their own little thing about it. It's the same thing. It's about a guy who's just a really powerful wizard. You know what I mean? Who has control of the elements and can do all this weird stuff that much easier than. But there's like a downside to it. It's a really good show. You liked Avatar last. Everybody like that same. Has character arcs, still has builds. It's like a bigger team. There's like 5 or 6 kids there, so like it expands on all of them. It's really good. You'll like it. Same thing with Shadow and Bone. You need to watch that too. That's 3 seasons. It's a great show. Very Avatar-y as well. Very similar. No?
Yeah. No, I'm just like I know there's so many shows, so much.
You saw Thunderbolts.
I saw Thunderbolts.
How was Thunderbolts?
The newest Marvel.
Sentry's in that movie, and I'm wondering how they do him because he's the Marvel's version of Superman that never gets that much love.
Sentry, I thought was really cool in this movie. Well, let me start with broad thoughts first. Yeah, Thunderbolts is the newest Marvel movie MCU film. It's kind of technically it's not a new phase yet, or I think it is. I don't fucking know the phases, but it's like they've kind of scaled down at this point. I think recently they're trying to do less movies a year, less shows a year, and this is kind of like the beginning of that now. Where I think this year it's Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. That's it. And this movie kind of follows a bunch of characters we've seen in other Marvel movies. It's like Marvel Suicide Squad, essentially, where it's a bunch of like former villains or like contracted killers and anti-heroes working together. I actually thought it was decent. I gave it like a 7, 8 out of 10. I like Florence Pugh, who she plays. I guess her comic book name would be White Widow. In the movie, she's just like Yelena. She was like Black Widow's like sister. They went through the Widow program together or whatever. She's great. I think in general, what's really interesting about the movie is that it tries really hard to tell a like character-driven emotional story, where like these are all kind of like ex-bad guys. Some of them still kind of bad, and they're all kind of just like government like lab rats. Like they just kind of like secretly do all this shit for the president and whatnot that nobody knows about. And they kind of have this like reconciliation together where they're like, we're all kind of like undesired by everybody. And you know, you got U.S. Agent John Walker who's talking about, you know, his wife left him and took their child because he was like a shitty person. And then obviously Elena has nobody, and you've got Alexei, Red Guardian, who's played by David Harbour from Stranger Things. They go to him and he's like sitting on a couch, like eating chips and whatnot. It does like the Band of Misfits thing, I'd say, really well. And they have like, so I mean, I'm not going to get into the actual villain and ending of the story, but I think the way that they portray like Sentry, I thought was really interesting.
And also accurate.
Because
I haven't seen the movie, but I know it's accurate. It's comic accurate.
people have said it's a very good comic accurate portrayal of Sentry. He's powerful as hell in the movie. There, the scenes where like he's fighting and you're like, oh, like everybody like in this room is probably gonna die. Just when he starts like going crazy. Yeah, he's got some cool abilities here. That actor, it's Lewis Pullman. It's Bill Pullman's son who plays him. Very good. The way they dive into like his backstory and his trauma, which all these characters just trauma dumping over each other this whole goddamn movie. But I thought it was good. It's one of those where like it ended and I was like, I want to see these characters again. I was like, I don't know, it's not going to be Thunderbolts 2 or whatever, but wherever the fuck they pop up, Avengers, whatever the hell, like I want to see more of their stories because they all had really good chemistry, great actors. It's a more straightforward story. It's not doing the like bigger universe implications. I mean, it's still got credit scenes and all that, but as far as like modern MCU, I was like, that's decent. It's like, at this point, if I finish one of those movies and I'm like, I want to see what happens next, then I'm like, that was a job well done. I didn't think it was like amazing or phenomenal. A lot of it was pretty standard, generic, like Act 1, 2, 3 superhero trope stuff. But I thought that the characters were all really cool, and the way that they kind of like focused and built the story around those characters was well done.
I mean, there's a lot of sins for me in that universe, but the one that I think the biggest egregious one is their portrayal of Taskmaster, Tony Masters. I know the Taskmaster in this, they did a gender swap, which is fine. Yeah. I don't mind a gender swap, but like the character's a silent nothing. Like they don't. Mm-hmm. That's the most.
Well, maybe we'll get Tony Masters because she's like a different character. She's not even supposed to be like a woman version of Tony Masters. She's like somebody totally different.
Like, from a different place. Thing. Like, why give her the shit? Why just make another character or just do something else with her? Why give her Taskmaster's shield and call her Taskmaster? Like, it seems a weird thing to do. But
yeah,
I said it was good. You think is this a return to the MCU?
It definitely feels like. I mean, it feels so silly to say this, but it feels like old school MCU. It feels like 2013, 2014 MCU. It's not like Avengers or Iron Man or anything. But I'm watching. I'm like, that's good. That's good. It's like a good story. It gets in, gets out. Like I said, the way that it sets up the future, I'm like, okay, this is actually interesting. The last several Marvel movies, even the ones I've liked and defended, they just don't feel compelling as far as like back in the day when you were watching like Captain America and Iron Man and the Hulk, you were like, oh my god, when does the next one come out? And they haven't had that like feeling on these movies in a long time. But this was the first one where it ended, and I turned my bed and I was like, "What's next?" I was like, "It's Fantastic Four, and then what? Like, what comes after that?" Because I was like excited about where they were like pushing the story. So it's good. It's decent. It's got some good acting, some good action sequences in it. Again, it's not like the best. It's not like the one like, oh, you have to see this one. If you don't like Marvel movies, this is the one that's going to change your life. But I thought it was pretty good, and people seem to be like pretty attached to it. And they did that gimmick with the title where it was Thunderbolts, and then they revealed that it's New Avengers.
I've seen the
there you go.
memes
That's
when
already
they turn
on the
it. It's not New Avengers.
Yeah.
Seen a ton of them. I was dying. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's been good to see going around. But yeah, that was good. And then last thing I want to say, I forgot to put on my run show, Poker Face. I loved the first season of Poker Face, came out a couple years ago. It's the Ryan Johnson whodunit show. He made Knives Out, but he also has a show called Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne from Russian Doll. It's on Peacock. The first season, phenomenal, great mystery. It's like Columbo, because it's a How Catch 'Em, Greg, where the beginning of the episode you see the crime and then you see how she got it. And she has a special ability that she always knows when someone's lying. And it's a case of the week, like guest star thing. And the new season has like John Mulaney, Cynthia Erivo from Wicked. She was Elphaba in Wicked. Second season, good, not great. First season was phenomenal. Second season, good, not great. I think the first 3 episodes of the second season struggle because Ryan Johnson is not writing any of them anymore. He's just producing. Different people are writing these episodes, and they're not writing mysteries as good as he does. But it's still good, still solid. The cases are still fun. I love trying to like work backwards as to how she's gonna get it. The gimmick of her knowing when people are lying to her is good because sometimes they'll do a thing, Greg, where like the killer knows about her ability, so then they have to tell like half lies or like
word
bend
in a
the
way
truth.
Where it's still true, but it sounds different.
Yeah. So all those like sequences are fun when people are trying to like outsmart her and they always inevitably like fuck up. It's good. It's a good show. I hope that the season evens out and gets better. Because again, the first season of Poker Face, every episode, I was like, "What should I do that?" But like this season, it's like, okay, so like this will happen, and then that'll happen, and then she'll find the sun. It's like, yeah, okay. It's like, it's a bit more predictable this time around. And I think it's because Ryan Johnson's a little bit more hands off this time, which I don't fault him. I mean, he wants to do other things, but you can tell that he's not writing every episode. So yeah, Poker Face is good, not great. But that's everything. Earnings are, it's 401. Earnings are dropping now, so we've got to get out of here. RM Squires, thank you so much for subscribing for 80 months in a row. How many years is that?
I have to do that too.
I have to do math too.
Hey,
this
we
is
have
not
to,
a strong suit.
and then not next week because we'll be at Universal. Maybe we'll do a stream at the park or something. But week after, I
Maybe.
want to talk about Havoc. I want to talk about Twisters, and I want to talk about Andor. Because we saw
Yes.
Twisters. I've never seen my wife more mad at the end of a movie.
Wait, why was she mad?
You know why? They didn't kiss.
I was mad too.
She was like,
Exactly.
Like, the credits rolled. She went, what? What?
I'm with you, Nicole.
Like
they should have kissed at the end of Twisters. They were supposed to kiss. No, okay. I don't know if Nicole knows this, but we need to clip this and show it to her. They filmed a kiss scene at the end of that movie.
Yeah, no, I
It's
showed
in
her
the
to her.
script.
She was like, they didn't do it in the movie. I need to see the kiss scene. I need to see it.
Do you know why? Steven Spielberg told them not to do it. He told them to cut it. He was like, it's not. They screened it early because he's a producer or whatever. And he was like, I like it better without the kiss. And they took it out. And everyone's like, Steve, we like romance. Just because you're bitter and your mother cheated on your dad, we love romance. Yeah. I'm with Nicole. They should have kissed.
She
Glenn
was
Powell.
so mad, dude. It was like she's like, just throw.
They-
Why didn't you just cold water on me? Just a bucket of cold water. The only witness in that film was when the water tower fell over. Like she was so mad. She was so angry.
Daisy Edgar Jones, the lead, and Glenn Powell have such good chemistry in Twisters that they should have kissed. They should have got together. Obviously, they were going to get together in that movie. I hate shit like that. They should have kissed. But I like Twisters. That came out on my birthday a couple years ago. Okay. And then, yeah, do we have capabilities of doing IRL streams? Can we stream at the park? Can we just like fire up a camera and walk around on Twitch?
Yeah, I could
the
install
park,
Twitch and then sing either on my phone and do it that way, and then we can have my mic will even work with our phones, and we can do that if we want to do that on Thursday.
Dude, that would be awesome. That people would want to see that. That'd be a cool stream. It won't be Pop Goes the Culture, but it'd be like an IRL just like park thing. Yeah. At some point next week we should do that. Okay. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna bounce out of here. Write about some earnings stuff. Stick around if you want to listen to the earnings call. Greg will be broadcasting that for your viewing pleasure.
On Twitch, I'll be trolling on my personal account, trying to get people to
There you
donate
go.
money to get me banned.
There you go. And with that, we will see you in 2 weeks for Pop Goes the Culture, but maybe next week for a fun IRL stream at Universal Orlando. I'm Donovan. That's Greg. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Peace out.